Hello again, everybody, and welcome to 4-Star Chicago Sports. This is the Halas Hall Hangover, and tonight we got some NFL headlines. Alexander gets the boot. There's a linebacker I talked about last week that's a free agent, and I want him. And we're going to rank the North position by position. We're going to find out who's the best, who's the worst, right after this. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to 4-Star Chicago Sports. As always, on this Monday on the Halas Hall Hangover, I got my boys, minus Kyle. He seems to be a little under the weather. I'm sure he'll be back on Wednesday for the Barely There podcast. But until then, we got Dustin, we got Brandon, and we're going to have a lot of fun tonight. How you doing, boys?
What up? Feeling good. It's good to be back for Halas Hall Hangover. Thanks to everybody who's watching. Thanks to everybody who will be jumping in with us. We're going to have a fun show tonight.
What's going on, everybody?
All right. Well, we got a lot to talk over when we break down the NFC North, but guess what? We're down one guy, so we got a few extra minutes to break down each thing now. So unfortunately, like I said, Kyle will be back, I'm sure, on Wednesday. But until then, let's get into some
Hope Kyle's all right.
News in the NFL. And before we get to the big guy, this is the guy that I talked about last week that would be very interesting to me if this gentleman got cut from the Cincinnati Bengals. Well, Pratt was in the top 10 last season in NFL in tackles. He was the team captain. He spent 6 seasons, 65 tackles, 8 interceptions, 7 forced fumbles, starting linebacker for 5 playoff wins for the Cincinnati Bengals. Last year, 143 total tackles, 6 passes defense, 5 tackles for loss, 4 QB hits, 2 interceptions. Jesus, man. Talk to me, guys. What would you think about Pratt joining the Chicago Bears?
He's a solid linebacker, man. Like you said, top 10 in tackles last year. I mean, he's been a leader for that team. It would depend. I would imagine he's not going to come very expensive either. It'd be worth kicking the tires on, I guess. But, like, I don't know. Do you feel like the Bears would benefit from him and that they would throw him at that Sam position? Like, does that work? Next, I mean, you're going to see TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds on the field most of the time. That third linebacker is going to be coming off and on. Is that even a role Pratt wants to take on? I don't know if it makes sense.
I like Pratt. He's a good player. Like Dustin said, if he came at the right price, because you're not going to pay a guy a big contract who's going to be on the field less of the time. You know what I mean? He's obviously not
30-40% of the snaps max.
He's not going to get anywhere near the timeshare he did on the Bengals. And he was a captain of the Bengals, so that's another benefit if you do want to add him. He's a guy who's probably got some leadership qualities. But yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Pratt in a Bears jersey, man.
Yeah, and he would be playing the same spot. He played primarily weak side linebacker, where we know a guy under contract plays.
TJ Edwards is already there. Like, it doesn't really make much. That doesn't really make much sense. I don't know that he's going to go out of position into a lesser role. I think he's going to try to get on a playoff contender where he can have a bigger role. I mean, you got to consider what Pratt is going to want too, right?
That's very true. I just get excited because I know that we're very thin at linebacker. This is a guy, as I just said, a team captain, a guy with a lot of experience, something that we're lacking. We're one linebacker injury away from being really shaking in our boots at that position. So I don't know, man. It's a guy that I would look at, maybe see if he would play out of position, maybe move over. I don't know. I'm just like, man, we need depth at this position. I don't really see much on this roster unless we're all so super excited about Hippolyte. And as we get into these NFC rankings, you'll see how I feel about the Bears linebacker.
Well, I mean, I feel you because, like, he does bring that leadership, and he obviously has played very well and throughout his career, right? And, he could be a good leader on this defense. I mean, if you're looking for depth, though, I don't know that he matches that. He is not a depth signing. He is a guy who's going to want to start and who you're going to want to start. I mean, to be honest, and the Bears just aren't going to be in the 3 linebacker set as often as they're going to be in those nickel and dime packages. So I don't know that the fit makes sense. And the Bears did. You brought up Hippolyte. They did just draft him to fill that role potentially, eventually. So like, I just don't know how much sense it makes for the Bears to spend any money on this guy. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I feel that. The next bit of news was a gentleman that the Chicago Bears were linked to just a little bit. He signed a 1-year, $2.5 million deal worth up to $5 million with the Texans. And guys, for the people who don't know, Joe Mixon's been dealing with an off-season injury to his ankle. I just actually came to my knowledge that he's been dealing with this long term, and there's some concern about him going into the season. I found that on looking for a picture to put on the show today, actually. So they said this is a quality signing because there is a little problem with Mixon's ankle. I guess it gave him problems. If you guys remember against the Bears, he hurt I think it was Kyler Gordon who pulled him down and hurt that ankle. Apparently, it's been giving him problems ever since. I don't know if it's related to that particular play, but
I was going to say he dealt with that all of last year, basically. I mean, Joe Mixon is a damn good running back if he's healthy, and Nick Chubb was a guy that I would have been interested in for the Bears. That wasn't, you're talking about the linebacker position being weak. Yeah. You just catch something on the Cubs game that pissed you off, Sean.
Yeah, Boyd's in a little bit of trouble again.
Yeah, well, yeah. I would just say that it makes sense to pair those two together. Nick Chubb is a good signing for them. It was $2.5 million, potentially $5 million, depending on how his performance, throughout the season. I mean, this guy, if he's healthy, is a top, one of the top running backs in the league potentially, man. I mean, the last time he actually played a full healthy season, he was one of the better running backs in the league. So it's worth a shot. I mean, and there's also the potential that his career is just kind of done with these injuries that he's had. They're pretty severe to the ACL.
Yeah, I think Chubb is a good signing for the Texans, even with a healthy Joe Mixon, man. I mean, Nick Chubb's he'll become cheap, and he's been a quality player over the course of his career. He has suffered a lot of injuries, but if you tone his role back a little bit, he was the lead back, really a bell cow for the Cleveland Browns. I mean, no matter how many injuries that guy suffered, they still kept trying the same thing. Let's do this every down back guy. I mean, maybe with a little bit of a spell between him and Joe Mixon, you might actually get a full season out of Nick Chubb. And I believe if you do, man, I think if you do, he's still a productive enough player to make a difference.
Yeah, and that Texans team to me is going to be sneaky good. That defense is pretty solid.
The receiving core is outrageous.
Guys, Mel, I just want to.
I tried making sense of that chat.
Melon Smasher is playing Madden over here. He's like, trade this guy for this. Bro, get out of here. Listen, don't get out of here. Stay here. But please, that's crazy. That is not happening. You're not trading DJ for Thibodeau and then trading for Ken Walker. And listen, the Giants are not trading Kayvon Thibodeau for DJ Moore, I don't think. And the Bears would be crazy to trade DJ Moore. I mean, Caleb's going to need him this season. I don't understand the impetus for any of this.
I don't know that you said replace DJ in offense with replace a wide receiver with the running. I'm so confused by this. A running back doesn't really quick. Replace a wide receiver.
I have to send a shout out to Carl because he reached out to me about being on the show today, and I completely slipped my brain. Carl, I am really, really sorry, man. In one ear and out the other.
Hey, Carl, how you doing?
Crazy weekend, man. I apologize, but we're gonna get you on one of these next couple of.
Yeah, you did have a crazy weekend, Sean. It was fucking impossible to get a hold of you this week.
So I'm sorry, brother. But we haven't forgot about you, and I definitely want to get you on 4-Star Chicago Sports because I love watching your show. So it'd be nice to mix it up just a little bit, man.
But thanks for being here. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Appreciate you very much for the support. What other news we got? The Jair Alexander?
Yeah, Jair Alexander. Obviously, we all know him as 14 out of 34 games with the Green Bay Packers. And to me, guys, going into this season, the cornerback depth on the Packers was already thin. I'm sorry, Nate Hobbs couldn't defend me, for the love of Christ. So this is great. Let's be honest. Xavier McKinney can only do so much in that secondary for these guys. I'm happy. C'est la vie, sucker. I did hear that the Buffalo Bills are very interested and tried to work out a trade with the Green Bay Packers before he was let go. So maybe he'll end up in Orchard Park playing for the Buffalo Bills if he can actually stay on the field. How do you guys feel about this Former Packer, no more pain in the ass for the Chicago Bears.
No more pain in the ass for the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, he was more of a pain in the ass for the Packers than anybody.
This was a long, and this was a long
What up,
time
John?
coming. And he had a thread to hang on to here. I mean, Packers had announced that they tried to sit down with this guy and restructure his contract, and he basically said, "Hell no." So I mean, Jair Alexander kind of decided his own fate, and I don't care where he plays, Sean. Even if he plays a full 17-week game season, this guy is just a problem, man. He really is. I mean, all the things that I've read about him, and the Packers don't really have this in their organization too much. You know what I mean? This is like a Oakland Raiders, Dallas Cowboys, Cincinnati Bengals thing. Like when you got these guys that just constantly piss their coaches off and somehow hang around. But I mean, starting from the game that he walked on the field against the Panthers because he was in Carolina, where he's from, where he decided he
made himself the captain, even though he wasn't playing in the game. Yeah,
I would be very shocked if any team wants any part of this individual because, like you said, Sean, not only is he a problem, he hasn't played. And
Brandon, you'll be shocked if any team wants any part of him. Have you seen the guys that have like done way worse shit and gotten NFL contracts?
I mean,
he'll get a shot.
Somebody's going to sign him, but I don't think teams are going to be like crawling over each other for this guy because at what juncture is he just more of a nuisance than he is a benefit to your football team? And I'm going to be honest with you, man. The 7 games that he's played in the last 2 years, I was not impressed.
It's 14 games in the last 2 years, right? 7 games in each season.
Right, 7 per season. Yeah, I wasn't impressed. I wasn't impressed. I mean, he seems to me like he's regressed in his production as well as he has his health. But I don't know, man. Even if the Bears were to need this position badly,
I'm good.
I wouldn't. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I don't want.
That's how I feel about this guy.
I don't want any part of him. He's gonna get a shot. I mean, the bigger concern is not so much his demeanor off the field or on the field, even because I mean, the guy will get in a receiver's face. He has agitated receivers. He was the highest paid cornerback in the NFL when he got that extension for a reason. He was a damn good player, and he still can be. I just think the availability is his biggest concern. If he cannot stay on the field, the Packers said, we're done with it. If you don't want to take less money, then move on.
Right, and you have to concern yourself. Is Jair Alexander going to take less money from anybody?
Well, he's going to have to. He's going to have to.
I think he's going to have to. I agree with Dustin there. I here, look, guys, you guys know I love the Buffalo Bills after the Chicago Bears. I hope he does end up in Buffalo and can put together a solid season because God knows they need some defensive help. He would help them tremendously. Get Josh Allen help on the other side of the ball for the love of Christ.
Buffalo is like the Green Bay of the AFC anyway, so it's like it works for him. Nobody wants to be there, so that could work out.
That could work. And really quick on the signing of Nick Chubb. I mean, I know J.K. Dobbins is still a free agent, but I'm one step closer to being able to see Roche
to the edge, and I'm about to break.
So that's all I want to see, man.
Sorry, repeat it, Sean. I talked over you in a stupid way.
No, I just said I want. It's one step closer. I know J.K. Dobbins is still out there, but we're one step closer to seeing what Roschon Johnson can do. I'm personally excited, probably more so than most. But
Kyle Monangai too. I listen. I think if Roschon does not stand out, if he hasn't really in the last couple of years, Sean, he has not stood out. You can say whatever you want about liking him in his college production, and he played quarterback in high school or whatever. What have you done for me lately? Roschon hasn't done much. Monangai could take that job and be the second running back. That's a possibility, man.
When Roschon Johnson had a decent offensive line, he averaged almost 4.5 yards a carry, which is the NFL average. When he was given the opportunity to handle the ball within the 5-yard line, he was a very effective runner. When he was given the ball on short yardage, he was a very effective.
Phil?
So I do.
No, for sure. I won't take that away from him.
I think there's a
he can get the short yardage. But I mean, I'm just saying if Monangai could do the same thing, and then he can do a little more potentially. Either way, hopefully you have a good option behind DeAndre Swift because the Bears don't seem to be doing anything else. There's all this rumors about they're trading for a running back and this and that. I mean, I don't see that in the cards. I think they're ready to run with what they have.
I think they're going to remain. I think they're absolutely does. I don't think you're going to see a signing here at this position, but I do think this. I think some Bears fans have lost sight of the fact that this guy is a 7th-round pick. Some of these guys don't even make their roster. Monangai will, but he's got a long way to go, man. The thing that I can say, I don't think Ben Johnson feels comfortable putting any running back on this field that can't catch the ball And the Bears are going to have to see this from Monangai before he carves out any kind of role in this offense, because he was, I mean, brutally bad at this in college. And I don't know if he just didn't get the opportunities, but until that gets corrected, until the enemy turns this guy into a surefire receiver out of the backfield, Roshan will be before him on the depth chart. That's for damn sure.
I mean, Roshan is going to have the first crack at that number 2.
They're going to get equal opportunity, I believe. And, spring training.
I don't think so.
You know what? I think the preseason.
I don't think so.
I think the preseason will tell a lot because I don't think, as much as I might be sold on Roshan, I don't know the coaching.
They're down, James.
And for all intents and purposes, minus what Melon Smasher says over here, Monangai has impressed and turned some heads in camp a little bit.
He was singled out by Ben Johnson, the head coach, in his press conference about a guy who has stood out. So I don't know.
And he's
I don't know what Melon's talking about, man.
And Declan Doyle said at every chance he gets, he forces his way to the front of the pack. He's the best listener of all the young guys on this team. He's literally taking physical notes while he's being addressed by coaches. I mean, this guy wants to be better. There's no doubt about that. 100%. And guys, what have we preached this whole since the Ben Johnson signing? There's ways to impress coaches outside of what you're doing on the field, especially when you're in a non-padded practice. So right now, Monangai is checking all the boxes on the things that he can do to make himself noticed. And I think for sure Ben Johnson appreciates hard work on and off the field. And that's probably the stuff that Ben Johnson's talking about as well when he says the guy stands out for sure.
Oliver Carter. Have we seen this name before?
I was just going to ask.
Not.
Let's get it. Oliver, what up? We like to
the show, buddy.
Come back. Yeah.
Thanks, Oliver, for joining us, man.
Hopefully, after listening to us, you'll want to come back.
That's called motivation, Melon.
Well, no, let's see what he, because he wrote the Pacheco.
Yeah, seriously, that's what Bieniemy is gonna do to Monangai all season, bro. That's gonna be his project, to beat the shit out of him until he turns into what he.
Oliver said something interesting. I think he just said that Pacheco was replaced by Monangai and also a 7th-round pick. Pacheco's found himself a pretty decent role in a Super Bowl winning football team. So, I mean, there's always hope. And I'm not saying because the guy's a 7th-round pick, you're going to write him off. I'm just saying it's really hard for those guys, a lot harder for those guys than your 1st and 2nd-round picks to solidify themselves on an NFL roster. They usually become practice squad guys. Not because the Bears are in desperate need of this position. I believe they are. I think they think they are. He's going to be on this football team.
Oh yeah, he's not on the bubble to make this roster. That's not the case. And listen, I'll continue to say this: Roshan has not impressed me, and I don't think he's impressed the Bears, which is why they wanted a running back so badly in this offseason, guys. So the opportunity is there for someone to take that spot, whether or not it's Roshan stepping up, which I hope he is. I hope he's the guy that does that. If not, you got Monangai right there who's going to try to do it as well. I am not particularly stoked about this Bears running back room, and we're going to get into that with our NFC North rankings because that's something that I don't think the Bears are going to fare very well in terms of their rankings.
No, sneak preview. I have them as 4.
That's not a sneak preview. You just told them.
Sneak preview to later.
Here's a hint.
Here's a teaser.
It's not a very good room when you put it up against some of these other rooms.
No, it is not
in this division. And I think my 2 will surprise some people in this division, but we'll see here shortly.
And what else we have to get into?
As far as that goes, I don't have any other news breaking down. I think we can get into these NFC North rankings, and unless anyone else heard anything else in the NFL. Oh, really quick, because you touched on this just a second ago, Brandon. If there was a running back that we were going to trade for, I know that there's some slight rumors out. I don't know where they're coming from. James Cook, I know he'd have to be resigned.
He's the only one.
Yeah, those Adam Schefter reports made it sound like that's just about over, man.
Dante, what up?
That marriage is over as far as Adam Schefter's reported.
I don't know why he's
sold his house.
Reacting so much, dude. Like, he's overreacting. It's a negotiation.
He wants to get paid, man. He's earned his money, man.
He don't have no leverage in that situation, though. He's
No,
play
because he's
it
under
out.
contract.
We've
yeah.
seen guys do this in the past. If that's what he's actually doing, because we don't know for sure. It's not training camp yet. It's not like he hasn't showed up and he's getting fined and dinged. He'll probably still show up. If he's smart, he will. But we've seen guys do this in the past, and it does not work out for them. Go out there, play out your deal, and fucking earn your next contract the way you should, because the team has all the leverage. They don't have to trade you, and they don't have to pay you more right now.
And if he hits the market, he's going to make a lot of fucking money. I mean, if you're James Cook, you should be stretched. You should be like racing for the finish line of your contract.
Unless you sit out,
start the bidding war on James Cook. Hell yeah, that guy's going to make a lot of money, man. I would want the Bears. I would want the Bears to be in that. I would want the Bears to be in that battle for
he's
James
a great
Cook.
receiving back. He's a great running back. He's a great pass blocker. He does everything. He is a true three-down back.
Fantasy monster.
Let me pose this. Would you throw in a 3rd-round pick next year, DeAndre Swift, for James Cook?
They wouldn't do that.
I don't think they would. No, I think they'd be silly to do that unless they just think that their system is so good they don't need James Cook. I don't think that they feel that way, though. I think this is James. If this is again, it's a lot of speculation, as you said.
Yeah,
but
it's speculation. I'm saying
it's coming from James Cook's end. The Bills ain't trying to get rid of James Cook. I'm sure
saying if that trade's on the table, would you say yes?
I would do that in a second if I was the Bears. Okay. The Bills aren't doing that, though.
No, you know what? He came out and said he's dug in. He's not coming to training camp. He's not doing any official team activities, including training camp, until he has a new contract. And again, like you just said, Dustin, we'll see if that holds water. We'll see if that holds weight. I really hope so. I really hope he gets there because, honestly, I have the 9th pick.
Carl, what are you talking
and I figure I would get him at number 9 in a 1-keeper league. He would be perfect for me, but not right now, man.
You could say the same thing, Carl, about Caleb Williams playing every snap this year. Every player in the NFL. I mean, it's just.
Well, yeah, I mean, if that's the case, Carl, then Saquon Barkley's just about fucked.
Yeah. I mean,
he's going to be 50% of that
up, but you keep giving them the ball. I mean, and if they continue to produce,
I will say this, Carl. I don't think the Bills are done with Al. Is it what's the kid's name they're using a bit?
Ray Davis.
Ray Davis. I don't think they're done there. That project's not over.
Well, they just drafted him. Yeah.
Ray Davis.
He was a rookie last year. James Cook is not going to get he's not an every down guy anymore because they actually got a quality backup over there.
No,
I was thinking of Braylon Allen. Is that the Jets kid?
Jets.
Yes, Braylon Allen's on the Jets.
Dude, Ray Davis is dope, man. I like that guy a lot.
Yeah, but he's another guy who, when he had opportunities last year, he did not particularly impress in my mind.
Well, and James Cook was playing way too good to take him off the field.
And I want that. Yeah, he's an every down back, Carl, and that's why he would be worth kicking the tires on. But I think that's all pipe dream stuff. I think the Bears are ready to roll with what they have. If an opportunity comes up, obviously you got to look into it. But I don't see James Cook being on the Chicago Bears. Obviously, this offense would be a lot better if he were.
I think they believe that they have a guy who can make their running backs, the entire room, better. I mean, Eric Bieniemy's a guy who's going to challenge these guys to be better. He's going to make them better. Like I said, Monangai came into this league with no receiving experience, and I can almost guarantee you that's the thing that Bieniemy's pressing the hardest with this kid. So, I mean, you have to hope that the Bears, all players on the Bears are going to progress from who was leading them last year. You know what I mean? There's just no doubt that every player doesn't improve.
I got one more name for you because I was reading yesterday or the day before, and players that may be cut from a football team. And they were saying that the New England Patriots may consider cutting Antonio Gibson. Now, I know he's not Nick Chubb or J.K. Dobbins, but would you guys be okay signing this guy as,
I'd rather see what Roshan has. I'd rather see what Kyle Monangai has.
Over signing an Antonio Gibson?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
I don't want any part of that.
If it were
Ramondre Stevenson, if they were going to cut him, that's somebody I'll consider.
If you're not adding somebody that you think is better than the guys who are on your roster, there's just no point in doing it, man. And I think Roshan has been just as good as an Antonio Gibson without the opportunity, man. I mean, honestly, Antonio Gibson doesn't impress me in anything that he does. He's able to get open.
I would cut Travis Homer and keep Antonio Gibson. That would just be if Or pick up Antonio Gibson.
Sean, I think Travis Homer's going to get cut regardless of signing another running back, to be honest with you. I think Ryan Pohl's promise to Ian Wheeler will make a difference when it comes to Travis Homer making this roster. I think they're going to roster 4 running backs. I do. I absolutely do. I think they're going to roster 4 running backs.
You need that.
It's a position that gets injured,
that gets hurt
most often. Yeah.
Homer's, I know, Carl, but so would Antonio Gibson until he had an opportunity. I'm just saying, if that opportunity were to arise, which it did for Travis Homer, I'm asking, would you rather have Antonio Gibson or Travis Homer in that role?
I don't care. I don't.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, and I've heard this. Yeah, I've heard this said before. The Travis Homer special teams thing. I've heard this said before. I mean, let's be honest, guys. If you take Travis Homer and remove him from this team and fill that role with somebody else, it's like, oh, we just went from the first ranked special teams to last because I don't know what kind of impact special teamers really make. He's not returning the ball. He's not returning the ball. He's a gunner, and I don't know how many tackles the guy. He's a blocker. Sure, other guys can play that role. So a lot of people.
I just don't think it would make a difference if you're talking between Homer and Antonio Gibson. It doesn't move the needle in any way to me. It doesn't move the needle in any way.
I'm a Gibson guy over Homer. That's all I'm saying.
The conversation Chicago sports fans want to hear: Antonio Gibson or Travis Homer
on special teams.
We're all
not on offense.
All right,
only here, guys. Only here.
Let's get to it. Brandon Iambandejo. What about Brandon Iambandejo?
That's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Special teams ace, Brandon Iambandejo. Yeah, that's why Dante's bringing him.
The Bears have always had one. They've always had a few guys that stood out in that unit. But I mean, it's because you're in that role. You're in the role that's best served. So if another guy plays that role, you'll probably read his name more often than not. You know what I mean? It's just.
I don't necessarily.
Every NFL player should be able to play special teams, man. If you can't do that, you have no business in the NFL.
Phil says he could see the Poles making one last big offseason signing just before training camp, running back, edge, or possibly linebacker. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what's in the cards after all the cuts happen. No, we're not going to rule it out, but those will be the areas that you would want to add somebody to. And I mean, obviously, offensive line, if you could improve that in any way, that's worth kicking the tires on as well to me. But let's get into these NFC North rankings, guys. I think that's why we're here. Sean, what's going on with the Cubs? Your face, stay with us, all right?
I'm here.
All right. The Cubs losing still?
Yeah, Michael Bush.
The Phillies are a good team, man. Phillies are a good team.
Phillies are a good team. We got to start beating some of these good teams. I will say Sunday, that was an absolute joke. Everything about that game was a joke. That umpire, the home plate.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. That was awful.
Having a bad day.
You're having a really bad day is what he said. You're having a really bad day. He's like, you're out of here.
No, I'm not. You're out of here.
Yeah, thank you a little defensive there.
Thank you
a little insecure.
Thank you for making my point.
I have seven still photos of calls that changed at bats from this clown yesterday behind home plate. You cannot consistently call pitches 3 to 6 inches off of the strike zone because it screws up how now you're making them swing at bad pitches. It was just it's terrible for an ump to be able to change the game. Not to mention
he was the best player for the Tigers that day.
Yeah, sure. The replay, the still
and it's happening more often than not, man.
Well,
it's always been an issue.
Hand is on home plate. The guy's tagging the dirt. The fact that they went to replay and still called them out. I mean, everything that happened in Detroit yesterday ruined that beautiful.
And I thought that foul ball, Sean. I thought that on the third base line. I thought that was a foul ball. The one they called fair.
The human error aspect of baseball is something I don't think you want to lose out of baseball. I don't want robot umps. I really don't. I think that's just been a part of baseball. Yeah, it's probably going to happen, and baseball will just continue to get worse. Umps have always been a part of the game, man. Sometimes they try to make themselves too big a part of the game, but that also draws eyes to the game too. That also sparks conversation. For sure. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's human error. It is what it is. And speaking of human error, there's going to be a lot of it in these NFC North rankings that we're going to go through here because we are humans and we do err. Liz, I don't know. It's dead middle of the season. Nothing going on with the Chicago Bears. We just kind of wanted to throw something else out at you, a little different, guys. We're going to go through each position group, and we're going to do the head coach, rank them 1 through 4 of what we think on paper is the best and worst teams in the NFC North at quarterback, at running back, at D-line, all the position groups and the head coach. And at the end of it, we're going to take those rankings and add them up. Lowest number is going to be who we think is going to be the best team in the NFC North. Worst number, highest number is going to be the worst team. You guys jump in, please. Keep the comments coming. Tell us what you think in terms of these rankings. I just thought it'd be an interesting way to kind of break down the NFC North and go through these depth charts a little bit and kind of see where the Bears stand amongst these other teams. And we're going to try to be honest and legit here. It's not going to be the Bears are number one in all these categories. We're not going to do that.
Number one.
Number one in everything, Bears. So let's get into it, Sean. I mean, we'll start with head coach and kind of roll through the line here, but let's go through these head coaches in the NFC North and see where Ben Johnson ranks amongst them, huh?
Well, the guy that I have number one. Maybe
this is probably the toughest. This is the one I was like, man.
I don't think so. I don't know. Number one is KOC, guys. Number one is KOC.
I think so too.
I have Kevin O'Connell number one.
So we're good.
I have Kevin O'Connell number one too, but it's tough, man.
Here's the deal. He's 34-17, 0-2 in the playoffs, but that translates to a 667 win percentage. I just like what he did last year with Sam Darnold, put those pieces together, and now they've assembled one hell of a roster, and we're going to find that out as we go through these rankings because Minnesota's pretty high for me on a lot of these things.
Yeah, Minnesota. It's hard not to like what they got going on up there. The one thing that we'll get to the quarterbacks here in a little bit, but I mean, Minnesota has a lot of good talent up and down their roster. Their coaching staff is really good, and I think KLC is the best coach in the NFC North right now. If I was going number two, guys, I'm going Dan Campbell. That's where I'm going. Illinois Jones says Ben Johnson is number two. I can't give Ben Johnson number two, and he hasn't even coached a game.
Ben Johnson, unfortunately, has to be number four for me.
Ben Johnson.
I won't go that far.
I have Dan Campbell number two.
Okay, so we all got Campbell two, KOC number one, right?
Yep. And there's many reasons. He has a case for number one too,
he does 100%.
First, real quick, Kevin O'Connell to me is number one, guys, because I think he's achieved the most with the least amount of talent.
With what he's done with the quarterbacks he's had on that offense,
I'd say the least amount of quarterback talent because
the team has talent for sure.
And I mean, he had Alexander Madison running for him for 2 years. I mean, this team has had some woes, man, that he's able to overcome.
Melon Smasher thinks LaFleur is the best coach in the division. I got Ben Johnson 3, guys. I am not the biggest Matt LaFleur fan.
No, I'm putting LaFleur third.
Okay, if I gotta bend on it, I will. But let me Matt LaFleur consistently loses big games. Anytime the playoffs come about, he turns into a pumpkin. He cannot situationally analyze the game, and he makes the wrong decision often. So Matt LaFleur more so than any of these guys, though. He, in terms of in-game decision making, I have a lot of questions about Matt LaFleur and how he approaches game management, and I'm not a fan. And I think Ben Johnson will do better at that, to be honest, than I think Matt LaFleur will this year.
I'm not clairvoyant. I can't say what Ben Johnson will or won't do as a head coach. That's why he's fourth for me. That and only that. But I will say this, guys. When you talk about, sorry to cut you off, Sean, when you talk about Dan Campbell, when you talk about Kevin O'Connell, the coordinator talent has been pretty outstanding. I mean, their coaches they've got a fucking all-star staff. Both those guys have. Up until now, Dan Campbell has. Matt LaFleur's coordinators, and sure, they're his hires, just keep getting fucking fired. So, I mean, and Matt LaFleur
that's a part of
but he continues to take this team to the playoffs with coaches that don't.
That's a part of your head coaching resume, Brian.
I can't put a guy who's never coached a game as a head coach before a guy whose record
that's totally fair.
Is totally fair. As good as it is with Green Bay.
But Sean, where are you at? We haven't heard your number 3 yet. You'll be the tiebreaker.
Brandon, I'm sorry. I'm kind of in the same boat with Dustin. Big game coaching when you've been in the league is something that's important. He's been in 8 playoff games. He's 3-5. And, I know that he's had 3 consecutive 13-win seasons, but they haven't amounted to much.
Kicked the Bears' ass this entire time, too. He's kicked the Bears' ass this entire time.
And you know what? He's 67-33 as a head coach, but I'm going to go with Ben Johnson, who's 16-3 overall versus the NFC North. I think he's going to bring a lot to the table. I know I was thinking about doing what you did, Brandon, and saying exactly.
So was I.
But for the same reasons Dustin said, his inability to coach against better coaches and outcoach them in games is something that matters to me. He's choked in some big moments, and
I'm not claiming you guys are doing it, but to me,
no,
putting Ben Johnson anywhere above 4 felt biased to me because I'm projecting what I believe he's going to be.
I'm projecting what I believe he's going to be
versus the guys who have versus the guys who have done this for years.
Well, we're projecting in general across the board here with everything we're doing, Brandon. Let's make that clear. And the one benefit of Kyle not being here is now we have a tiebreaker between us.
Brandon,
so I mean, I just think Matt LaFleur has really let his team down in the playoffs with bad decision making. I mean, then you would still be outvoted. Then there you go. That's the 4 stars.
That was my point.
Hey, Brandon,
but Flex Diggs agrees with you.
Well, these coaches that he's going to be going up against, O'Connell and Flores, he's averaged 30 points and 406 yards per game. Against the Bears, 30 points a game, 385 yards. The Packers, 25, 350. He's going against the same coaches. He's going to be doing similar game planning that he knows how to beat these defensive coaches. I have a feeling he's going to have some success against these guys, which head-to-head is going to make the difference.
I think, but Sean, I mean, I think that's the way. But Matt LaFleur's NFC North record is pretty damn good. I think. I mean, he whipped the shit out of that Lions for a few years.
Is a good head coach.
I know that nobody's discrediting Matt LaFleur as far as I'm concerned. I don't think.
Listen, it's a little crazy.
This is a really good division of coaches.
Yes, it's an awesome division of coaches.
It's frightening.
If I gotta pick the worst one in my mind, I think it's Matt LaFleur based on what I've seen.
Fair enough. I got outvoted.
There's 100%.
Beat it to death.
There's 100% a fair argument to make that Ben Johnson should be number 4 on this list. I agree 100%. With that in a lot of ways. Because he has not coached a game in the NFL yet, but we are projecting out here, and I think Ben Johnson is going to show himself to be a better coach than Matt LaFleur as soon as this season. And I just think Matt LaFleur has too many issues when the game's on the line, and he has too many issues in big games. For me, that enables me to ding.
Yeah, I'm not gonna refute that. He has not been good when it matters most. And I will say this, Dustin, it's not just the Packers losing as a team. He has made some awful decisions to lose the Packers football games in the playoffs, without a doubt.
He is learning.
Vikings are number 1, Lions number 2, Bears 3 on our list, and Packers 4 at the head coaching position. Okay.
Illinois Jones says Ben Johnson will win Coach of the Year.
Nice, Illinois Jones. I like that prediction. Melon Smasher is I
think he's favored, Illinois Jones. I think right now, if you go to like FanDuel and DraftKings, Ben Johnson is favored for Coach of the Year right now, which is pretty mind-blowing because like the Bears' record is not projected to be anywhere near what a coach requires.
8.5 games. I mean, if you hit that 9-win mark with this Bears team, that puts you solidly in the running, I think, for Ben Johnson.
Yeah, I agree. If you have a winning record, you've changed a lot.
We got to get a universal remote and turn off Sean's damn TV, bro.
Dude, he just struck. There's runners on first and second. He just struck out Schwarber. If Carson Kelly could have held on to the ball, if he hits a home run right here, we're gonna have one of those moments I talked about.
All right. Well, this is one game of many. This is our one show a week. Let's
pull it together. Truck him out.
Let's go quarterback. Quarterback.
Right, where we at?
Well, now we're going to quarterback, obviously, between these teams, and someone else can start this off. Where do you guys got at number 1?
I have Caleb Williams. I think Caleb Williams' skill set is different than any other player in this division. I think Jared Goff is a system quarterback. Jordan Love really underwhelmed after getting his big contract, and J.J. McCarthy is the Ben Johnson to me of this conversation. I'm not going to call him anything above anything because he hasn't done anything. And I didn't like the kid that much in college. And I don't think Jim Harbaugh trusted him all that much when he was in Michigan. So I think to me, honestly, guys, and this is coming from non-biased place. I've liked this kid since Oklahoma. Caleb Williams is the best quarterback in this division without too much argument. I mean, honestly.
I'm taking Caleb number 1 too, man. And this could be, I mean, Flex Diggs pointing out Bears fans love to lose money on this team every year on Vegas bets. Yeah, for sure. But if I'm betting on a quarterback to perform, I don't know if I'm betting on the 8.5. but I'll bet on Caleb Williams to be the best quarterback out of this division by the end of this season. Now that you've paired him with Ben Johnson, you got all these weapons. You've greatly improved that offensive line. Caleb is in for a big season.
Had a good
there's
season
a lot
without those things.
Yeah, and he's going to have a better one with him. And he's got a lot of expectations on him, and I think he wants to meet and exceed those. So I got Caleb number 1. I think Sean is probably on board with us here.
Yeah, it was really close, and I know
wasn't close at all for me.
No, that's kind of what I was hammering home.
Here, I'm talking about based on what's been accomplished. The only other competition for me, and I know you guys are going to laugh, is Jared Goff. You can say
he's number 2.
The guy is one back,
pretty high paid guy.
He's been to 2 NFC championship games. He's been to 1 Super Bowl. He was a former number 1 overall draft pick in this division, or in this league. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So he hasn't won. So if I'm talking about on the surface, it should be Jared Goff, but I'm going to agree with you guys and say this is a lot closer for me than just handing it to Caleb. I almost picked Jared Goff, but I'm going to stick with Caleb as number 1.
And I want to say this, something that got overlooked and forgotten about rather quickly, but 68 sacks, guys. This kid broke the all-time NFL rookie record for pass attempts without an interception. That's insane. That's insane. No, I know, Sean. I just want to reiterate that to like the chat and everybody who's going to watch the show. Like, you have got to take that into account when you're assessing Caleb Williams' rookie season, because you're going to think about the things he did. How many touchdowns did he throw? How many yards did he throw? The things he didn't do were what surprised me the most, man. The guy was constantly under duress, and he didn't turn the fucking ball over. And that you just, I mean, guys, in Chicago, we're just used to giving the ball away when we're watching our quarterbacks. Even the Jay Cutlers on this football team were pretty consistent in giving the ball to the other team. Caleb Williams really impressed me with his ability to not only manage the offense, but to protect the football, man.
Melon, we are projecting out, okay? Now, what do you think Ben Johnson is here for? To help Caleb Williams evolve. Caleb Williams is going to evolve with Ben Johnson, and with the improvements that Brandon's talking about, the fact that he was under duress for basically his entire rookie season, that is what we are banking on. We are projecting out. I don't care that Jordan Love won a playoff game. I don't care. We're not talking about that. We're talking about this season coming up, and Caleb Williams will establish himself as the best quarterback in the NFC North with Ben Johnson calling the plays for him and an offensive line that'll actually keep him upright. That's what we're talking about.
And there's no merit to this, but if Jared Goff is sacked 68 times, I don't think he finishes a season.
Daniel?
I really don't. I mean, Caleb's a tough kid. You've got to take that into account. I don't think Jared Goff is still standing on 2 legs if he's hit 68 times in this league, man. I mean, it's crazy that guy stayed healthy through a fucking season, man.
Number 2 is Goff then, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. For me.
Okay. And number 3 is Love.
Yeah. I'm giving Love.
Yep. And number 4 is JJ McCarthy. That Vikings quarterback room in general. You can throw in Sam Howell.
You can throw in the garbage.
I mean, we could talk about Tyson Bagent if you want, in case Keenum, in terms of if Caleb goes down. What?
Yeah. Yeah. You guys don't know about Max Brosmer.
Max Brosmer? Who?
He's the 4th quarterback. He's the 4th quarterback on the depth chart for Minnesota.
Okay.
Is Jaron Hall still there? And then
I can't forget about something I didn't even know in the first place.
And then is it Hendon Hooker still in Detroit?
Hendon Hooker is the number 2 quarterback in Detroit.
Yeah. So the Bears win that. Yeah, the Bears win that situation top to bottom.
I mean, Malik Willis has come out and won games for the Packers. I mean, he hasn't really won the games. He's done enough he hasn't lost them the games. Yeah,
he's managed
games. There's that. Brandon, the Packers, that gives the Packers a bit of an advantage.
Jaron Hall is on Seattle. Who's Minnesota's number 2 quarterback?
It's Sam Howell.
Sam Howell.
And Brett Whitman, former Chicago Bear.
Yeah, and Sam Howell could end up starting in that role.
He should.
Which says enough about Minnesota's quarterback situation.
So we got the Bears number 1 at quarterback in this division. We got the Lions number 2. We got the Packers number 3, and we got the Vikings number 4. And I just want to say this about JJ McCarthy. If I were a Vikings fan, first of all, if I were a Vikings fan and they drafted JJ McCarthy, I would have been pissed off. I was not a fan of him in college.
Traded up a lot.
The fact that Jim Harbaugh did not trust him in big moments really was a big eye opener to me in terms of what I thought about his talent, and I just didn't see it on the field. Now, the fact that he didn't play last year And the fact that Kevin O'Connell is his head coach, guys, I could see how a Vikings fan could talk themselves into this guy could be good. Because Kevin O'Connell has made chicken salad out of chicken shit in the quarterback position. Sam Darnold wasn't supposed to do shit last year, and he was one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. So, I mean, I could see how a Vikings fan could talk themselves into it. Like, he hasn't played yet. And to call him a more mobile Joe Burrow is just ridiculous to me, though. I mean, he did talk about his OTA touchdowns. I don't care.
He played 3 quarters in a preseason game, and he looked really good, man. He put the ball right on his receivers down the field.
Yeah, I mean, he can come out and prove us all wrong. I don't expect him to. I don't think he's going to be a good quarterback in the NFL, and I don't know that he'll finish this season as their starting quarterback, to be quite honest. So I think
that's what I'm saying. There's going to be
Vikings are going to have a tough time at the quarterback position, and that will be their downfall of this season if they have one. That will be it. But we'll see. All I'm saying is I could see how a Vikings fan could be talking themselves into JJ McCarthy right now.
Let's let Sean lead the running backs. Get his focus off when it comes. That's easy. Number 1.
Yeah, this is cut and dry. I mean, I'm just gonna put Detroit.
Well, that's a big deal, Melon Smasher. Oh, sorry, hold on, Melon Smasher. If JJ McCarthy throws 9 times in a game, obviously he has a better chance of having a higher completion percentage than Caleb Williams, who's throwing 30 times a game. Like, that's just I think
that's what he's saying. But yeah,
I understand. But why would you point that out? As
you have to ask, why is JJ McCarthy throwing 9 times against Penn State? Why? Because his head coach, when they played ranked teams in big games, his head coach thought, our best chance to win is if this guy doesn't throw the football.
Defense and run
that's
the
That's a problem.
And that's Jim Harbaugh's MO in general. But all I'm saying is don't throw completion percentage at me with JJ McCarthy when he hasn't really he wasn't asked to throw the ball. You can't compare Caleb and JJ McCarthy in that particular statistic.
One pass for one completion.
Where he threw less than like 13 attempts.
He threw like 8 games against Penn State in one game that championship season.
8 completions against Penn State. He was like 8 for 15 or something like that. Yeah.
I'm good.
No, I think it was worse. I think it was lower than that, Brandon. Maybe somebody
was it 8 attempts?
I thought it was 8 attempts. That's what I thought.
Yeah. All I know is when the team needed to win when there was a big moment, a big game, they did not allow JJ McCarthy to try to make those plays, man, and that says a lot to me. Dustin, we talked about this when we were we were leading up to that draft, that he's not a guy that should be selected in the first round. He's not a guy that should start.
He got hyped up. He got hyped up going into that thing, and the Vikings talked themselves into him. And again, you got KOC. I could see why you would talk yourself into him. I can. And if you're a Vikings fan, I can see too. I just don't expect that to pay off. Guys talk themselves into quarterbacks all the time, and they flop in the NFL. That happens often. JJ McCarthy looks like a flop to me.
Looks like a flop to me.
And how many more quarterbacks?
All right, what do we got on running backs?
Can succeed? What are the odds?
Well, I think we're going number 1 Detroit across the board, right?
Yeah, I'm going to say Detroit.
Yeah, 100%. Jameer Gibbs, David Montgomery, that is the best running back tandem in the league, and their running back room is very strong. That's for sure.
My number 2, and see if you guys agree, I took big money, Josh Jacobs, 1,300 yards, 15 rushing touchdowns.
I'm with you as well. I'm with you.
Number 2.
And Marshawn Lloyd is the second running back there.
Marshawn Lloyd, but don't forget about Emmanuel Lewis, dude.
Yeah, that other, Emmanuel,
last year.
Yeah, he played well.
Running back room.
Yeah, it is. That's what I'm saying. Overall, it's a very good running back room for the Packers. And then third, I got the Vikings, guys. I have the Vikings
third as well. But by the way,
I think when it comes to this conversation, you're just comparing Aaron Jones and DeAndre Swift, because neither one of them impressed me in the backup roles.
Jordan Mason, comparing Jordan Mason to Roschon Johnson. I like the Jordan Mason pickup for the Vikings. I think he's going to be a good power. I think he's going to be a good power running back for that team and balance them out very well. And
I think Aaron Jones is going to. I think
they still got Ty Chandler.
I was going to say Ty Chandler overwhelmed, but he had some moments. He's not the greatest, but not the worst in my opinion.
I'll agree with you guys, but I'm going to say this: I think Aaron Jones is in for a rough year.
That's why
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it's going to be a 1A.
I think it's going to be a 1A, 1B situation. I mean, you got to remember that Jordan Mason, I believe he had around 5.3 yards, 5.4 yards.
He
carry
was
last year for San
dominant for the
Francisco.
Niners in that
That's
run
what I'm
game when he
saying.
was
Like,
healthy.
this guy's not a slouch. And I'm going to tell you this: when we get into these offensive lines, did you see how stacked this Minnesota
Oh my
offensive
God!
line
Yes,
is?
yeah, they're yeah,
I
it's
mean,
really good. It's really good. And
this
Aaron,
is
like
a-
you're saying, that rotation is going to keep Aaron Jones fresh. They're gonna
Mhm.
do a good job of designing that run game and keeping that rotation good for Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason. The biggest question with Jordan Mason again is health. He could not stay healthy with the Niners, and that's
And the
why he was
biggest
such a bargain.
and
Thanks,
Aaron
Romy. I
Jones.
tried to get it in there, but
Aaron Jones isn't the
Couldn't cut
oldest
it.
back in the league. He's 30 years old, but he was a bell cow in Green Bay. I mean, this guy's been used a lot in his career.
He was damn
used a
good
lot.
last year too,
He
Brandon.
was used a lot last season as well. He had a lot of carries. I think he had close to 300. I mean, this guy he's got some wear and tear, man.
Who
At
you talking
some
about? Jordan Mason?
juncture, Aaron Jones. At
Oh,
some
Aaron Jones.
juncture, you're going to start to see that having.
I'm not a big Aaron
impact.
Jones believer. I think Jordan Mason is a sleeping giant, and I
Don't
think
sleep on Aaron Jones, the bear killer, guys. Aaron Jones is still going to have a solid season this year.
I think he's a. I think I like that room. I like that room. That was a great. I was actually really pissed when I saw Minnesota. Oh God, Jordan Mason.
Yeah, same here.
So we got the Bears last.
Oh, the Bears are 4. The Bears are
Bears are
4. DeAndre Swift, Roshan Johnson, Kyle Monungai, and the infamous Travis Homer.
And I got Minnesota at 3.
Yep, that's what we got. So we got the Lions 1, Packers 2, Vikings 3, Bears 4 in the running back room. I don't know if the chat agrees with us, but
really quick, we got an MVP up right now
in a 2-2 game, right?
2 outs in the 8th. Come on.
In a 2-2 game?
In a 2-2 game. Let's see what he's got. He's got a 1-1 count here.
Let's move on to receivers, gentlemen. What are we looking at for receivers? Brandon,
I'm going to go Minnesota. Minnesota. Justin Jefferson is just such a good player. Jordan Addison's a really good football player. But Justin Jefferson
had a great season last year too.
And Justin Jefferson is so good that he kind of already, to me, lifts this score above the rest of the NFC. And this is a tough one, man. The receivers in this division are really good. They're really good receivers in this division, man. Across the board, they are.
I will say this. As long as Justin Jefferson wears purple, the Vikings have the division's best.
That's what I'm kind of saying. He puts the staple on that. But Dustin said
Rome was drafted. Rome was drafted to be that guy for the Bears, guys. Rome was drafted to be that guy for the Bears.
Naylor had a really good year, and Addison was the best thing that Caleb Williams ever had in his collegiate career.
Addison is a beast. I love that guy. I thought he was the best receiver in that draft.
Don't forget about Jordan Addison. There's also a guy on this roster by the name of Ty Felton, who is expected to battle Rondell Moore.
My God. Rondell Moore. What'd he do? What happened?
He hit it all the way to the wall. He just missed it. He just missed it. Damn.
I was going to bring up Rondell Moore, too, with this wide receiver room in Minnesota. They have a stacked receiver room, guys.
They do.
Stacked receiver room.
And again, don't forget about Lucky Jackson that's on this roster, too, my friends.
Yeah, Melon Smash.
Again, Sean, I can't forget something I did not know already.
Melon Smasher's kind of putting the icing on the cake here. Edison, 19 touchdowns, 2 years, 1 best wide receiver in the nation in college. Jefferson, best wide receiver in the NFL. Hawkinson, 2 Pro Bowl. Yeah, we're going to go tight ends are going to be a different subject, but you're right, Melon Smasher. And like I said, I think Jordan Addison was the best thing Caleb Williams ever had through his collegiate career.
Until now.
What about Brendan Rice, man?
Oh yeah, don't let me forget that name. He's got this almost the same name as me, and I forgot it.
I think this is where the rubber hits the road here, guys. For at number 2, this becomes a much tougher conversation. The Vikings are the clear cut number 1. Number 2, you can make a case. Number 2, okay. Well, then, Sean, what do you got?
I got the Chicago Bears. DJ Moore, Roman Dunze. I'm sorry, I know he hasn't touched the NFL field, but I think
Luther Burden
is going to be absolutely.
And Zacchaeus is your Rondell Moore. I like Zacchaeus. People disagree with me.
I just think this room is going to be very tough for a lot of defensive secondaries to handle. And when I look at Detroit and I look at Green Bay, like I said a little bit ago, I'm going to say the same thing with when it comes to their their tight end room. I think they have a lot of good players. I don't think they have any great players. I think the Bears have 3 potential great players in this room. Well, we already know DJ Moore is great. Roma Dunze is on his way. And I think Luther Burden is going to take the NFL by storm. So for me, I don't think it's that hard of a decision. I have the Bears.
Okay, well, let me just throw this out here because I mean, we all know who's on the Bears roster. I would hope, being Bears fans and all. I mean, Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, Matthew Golden, Dontavian Wicks, Romeo Dobbs. The Packers have a solid receiver. They don't have that number one go-to guy.
Right.
That will be what knocks them. And I think Rome is going to turn into that guy. And you already have that guy in DJ. So I guess that's what puts the Bears over the top.
I have the Packers last.
I do just want to point out that the Packers do have a very solid receiving core that you could have a conversation.
The Lions make a case for number 2 more to me.
So you're about the top end talent in terms of St. Brown and Jameson Wood.
Jameson, yeah. I mean, your duo to me is what's going to take you over the top, especially the impact it's going to make on your season. If they have two receivers with 1,000 yards each again, I mean, that they're making a really strong case for being number 2 to me, honestly.
Well, Oliver is saying Detroit is number 2 for him.
Oh, sorry.
Oliver is saying Detroit is number 2 for him. Chicago receivers have not proved anything yet. I auto-corrected that for you.
Yeah,
Oliver.
we are doing this a lot based on
point. Yeah.
Projection, but I do think that the Bears will have 3 really quality receivers versus Detroit's 2.
For me,
Tim Patrick as your third receiver, that is the separator, right?
I was gonna say that's my separator. I like Tim Patrick. I think Tim Patrick's got a lot of potential. I don't know. Isaac Tesla was. I don't know a lot about him. I'll be honest. He wasn't a wide receiver I studied coming into this draft. And
the Lions love him. The Lions love him.
I have to study a little bit more up on him, so I can't say anything about Tesla. But if I'm comparing rookies, give me Burden over Tesla all day, every day. Give me my third receiver over Tim Patrick.
Give me Burden over Matthew Golden. And I'm going to say this, man.
That's what I'm saying.
We've preached this a lot on this show, guys. So I'm going to stick to what I've stick to our guns here. Rome Odunze might be the second best receiver in this division behind Justin Jefferson, based on what I think he's able to achieve.
He's going to be the best receiver on the Bears this year. He's going to have a breakout season. Yeah. So given that,
we're not going to go down that rabbit hole, but I disagree.
I think
that's why we're here to go down rabbit holes, man.
I think
we're not going to argue DJ Moore over Rome Odunze again.
I think Rome Odunze has the potential to be a better player than Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's probably going to piss a lot of people off, but I do. I think that he absolutely does. I don't know about Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson might be the best receiver in the NFL. Year in and year out, he continues to kind of prove that. No matter
it's him or Jamar Chase, right? It's him or Jamar.
No matter
Chase.
who's throwing the ball, Jefferson seems to get his.
For the best receiver in the NFL, it's Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase.
Really close.
Yeah, that's 2 college teammates, by the way, with Joe Burrow throwing him the ball. Fucking ridiculous.
The only thing I would say, I know Justin Jefferson is going to set every record for receiving records for NFL since he stepped onto the NFL football field. But I mean, he doesn't have a triple crown. And he doesn't score as many touchdowns as Jamar Chase. I mean, that's just
he gets the yards. He gets the yards, and he gets the yards per catch.
Yeah. And he's got games where Jordan Addison outplays him. I mean, that's happened more
Well, that's because he's getting all the attention.
Yeah, but T. Higgins outplays Jamar Chase every once in a while.
Yeah, because and again, DJ Moore taking all the attention should benefit Rome Odunze. That's kind of
and now that you see now George Pickens is on the Cowboys, you're going to see CeeDee Lamb have one of these seasons that's astronomical too. But
I don't think that saying that Rome Odunze could be. I just want to make it clear. I don't think that saying Rome Odunze could be the best receiver on this team this year is disrespectful to DJ Moore. It's just really looking at the potential of Rome Odunze and what he is capable of doing. And I think his skill set lends itself to being a true number 1 receiver more so than DJ. Not to take anything away from DJ. He is a leader in this team. He will be the wide receiver 1 on this team and set the tone for these guys. And he will be a big part of this offense. But I like Rome's skill set better in terms of being a true number 1 receiver. And I think you're going to see that take shape this season. That's all I'm saying.
I think outside of, I don't know where Jameson Williams was drafted. I think it was like 12th overall. Outside of Justin Jefferson, Rome Odunze was the highest drafted receiver in the NFC North. The expectation, guys,
he was drafted higher than Justin Jefferson, Brandon. If Rome Odunze was drafted 9, Jefferson was drafted 22nd.
So the expectation should be by all fans, not just Bears, that this kid is a premier receiver in the NFL and one of the best in this division. And I don't think that's going on a limb either. I mean, this guy was drafted where he was because of the things that he can provide, the element that he can present to an NFL team. And you're going to see it. You're going to see it.
Well,
so he was the 12th pick overall. I was correct about that.
Just remember, I think David Terrell was the 8th overall pick. So
David Terrell is a good player. I mean, he didn't achieve.
But
His
Kevin White
potential.
was the 7th overall pick.
yeah, there you go. There's another
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. I mean, we know that
Rome's
can turn
better
into
than
bad
those
things.
guys.
But you saw that right away with those guys, man, from my perspective. And Roma Dunze showed a lot last year.
When the Kevin White
pick
pick was a reach.
Yeah, it was. In terms of his ability to get
think,
open. And Kevin White had the injuries too. I mean, there's a lot of factors that play with that.
Oliver, I think he's going to still have the best season on the Bears this year. I'm not agreed with on the panel, but that's okay. We'll see come December. Hopefully it's a really good problem to have.
So who you guys think is third behind the Bears? Do we agree that the Bears are number 2? Dustin, did you?
Yeah, but I got the Bears too. Yeah, I mean, that's
so
what it is.
Yeah, Brandon,
I had the Bears.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Detroit is number 3. I like Dustin said. Dustin said the thing that I think matters most to me. That Green Bay team is loaded with quality receivers, just not the guy. And I think that's their approach. That Matt LaFleur's proud to say it. They're all number 1s, but the reality is they're all number 2s.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say this, but I don't think Matthew Golden's going to be that guy either.
Not a number 1. I think he's a stud. I don't think he's going to be a number 1
as a slot receiver, as a guy that works the middle of that field and stretches it. I mean, yeah, we'll go Lions 3 and we'll go Packers 4. I think that's all close. 2 to 4 is really close to me. It's not like there's a lot of separation between the Bears, the Lions, and the Packers in those ranks. I think the biggest separation is from 1 with the Vikings to 2 with the Bears in terms of
I'm good with that.
talent.
So where are we moving to?
Tight end.
Oh, the tight end show.
Yeah, this one might get hairy. I don't know.
This is where it gets a little squirrely, folks.
Guys, put in the chat, please. Put your 1 through 4 in the chat if you can, guys. If you're watching, like 1 through 4, tight ends, NFC North. I'll go ahead and start. I think the Chicago Bears are number 1, man. I do. I have the Bears at number 1. I think the skill positions, the pass catching positions on this Bears team is going to be too much to handle, I think, for the opposing defense. And I believe Colston Loveland is that George Kittle type player. I think he's going to eventually get there in his career. I don't know if it's going to be this season, but I think Cole Kmet is probably better than both Green Bay's tight ends. Kraft might be there with is more skilled receiver, but an all-around player. Kmet's pretty damn reliable. I got the Chicago Bears at number 1 here.
Real quick, we had Oliver Carter saying he had Chicago at number 3. He had the Lions at number 2, the Bears at 3, and the Packers at 4 for the receivers. A little bit different than ours, but as I said, there's not a lot of separation between those 3 teams. It's the Vikings and then everybody else. Dante for the tight ends is saying he's agreeing with you so far, Brandon. He's got Bears, Lions, Vikings, Packers. Just for context, let's break this down real quick. Tucker Kraft, Luke Musgrave, Ben Sims for the Packers. That's what we're looking at. We know the Bears are Colston Loveland, Cole Kmet, Durham Smythe. The Vikings are looking at TJ Hawkinson, Josh Oliver, and don't sleep on this guy, Sean. Gavin Bartholomew.
I know all about
don't forget about him. And then the Lions are looking at Sam Laporta, Brock Wright, and Sean, don't forget about this guy, Kenny Yeboah.
That's a new one.
Yeah.
Okay, so Melon Smash, John S has Lions number 1, Vikings 2, Bears 3, Packers 4. Melon Smasher has Laporta, Hawkinson, Kmet. So he's got Lions, Vikings, Bears, Packers.
Wow, and I have Bears Packers. This is what I have the Bears. I'm talking about it. The entire room, man. I have Bears Packers. That's
listen. If you want to talk about top end talent at receiver, Justin Jefferson, I'm going to put Sam Laporta up there, man. Sam Laporta makes it a discussion for me for the Bears.
Hawkinson's got to be considered too, because
Hawkinson is not on the same level as Sam Laporta. He's had a good career, but at this point, he is not on the same level as Sam Laporta. It's not even close, Brandon. It's not even close.
If he's healthy.
Yes, even if he's healthy, he's at the tail end of his career. Sam Laporta is Sean, come on now. Is it a comparison between Sam Laporta and TJ Hawkinson for you? Is that even close?
I think when Hawk is healthy, I think
he's a damn good player.
You guys are crazy. Jesus Christ.
At his age, I would give the nod to Sam Laporta. But
remember, Hawkinson's
not even close.
Hawkinson's best year was 2 years ago. Whether or not he's aging, his best season was 2 years ago.
Sure.
95 catches for 960 yards. I mean, that's He's a damn good fucking.
Are you drafting TJ Hawkinson in fantasy?
Because of his health? No.
Are you okay? So
I would.
That pertains to this conversation
not high.
as well. It's health.
But I'll tell you this, Dustin. Everybody who drafted Sam Laporta last year in fantasy got kind of bent over. I'll tell you that.
For sure. The tight end position in general fucked a lot of people over. I got lucky. I got Brock Bowers in 2 out of my 3 leagues, and that really saved my ass. That's why I won all my leagues. It was a big part of it.
If you didn't get Trey McBride or Brock Bowers, you were hurting last year, man.
Trey McBride didn't catch a touchdown till the last game of the season. Everybody had issues at the tight end position. So, I mean, like, all I'm saying is if you're having a conversation between Sam Laporta and
But are we having a conversation about the entire room?
The entire so Oliver and Gavin Bartholomew, Brandon?
Oh, I'm not putting the Vikings are last for me, but the Lions are third.
They are.
The Lions are third for me.
So no, I don't know. We got to figure this out because I'll go with you on the Bears at number 1, and that's a lot of projection. I have high hopes for Colston Loveland. I think he's going to be better than a comparison to George Kittle, to be honest. And it's just about him getting healthy for the season, which I don't think will be a problem. I believe he's going to be the Bears' number 1 red zone target this season. I have said that multiple times. I am on record. You guys can quote me. It's fine. So we'll go Bears number 1. But at number 2, man, I got the Lions because of Sam Laporta. Period. End of story. You can tell me Brock Wright this and whoever so and so that. I'm putting the Lions over Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave. I am. And Sean, you're gonna have to be the tiebreaker here.
Oh boy.
Don't leave us hanging.
You thought about this before the show. Just say who you had, man. It doesn't have to be one way or the other.
No, I'm looking at my list, and I'm going to be honest. I can send you a photo right now. It's the only list I didn't put 1, 2, 3, 4 by was my tight ends. But
yes, they did. Amphiers from 1,100 yards to 700 yards.
Which happens to players in the NFL. It does.
I'm gonna go. Man, I'm gonna go Detroit. I'm gonna have to.
You have to.
I actually gonna put.
Fuck you, Sean. No,
no. I'm gonna put the Packers 4th because of what you just said, Brent. I think individually, if you were gonna list these guys on,
I think Tucker Kraft.
I'm taking Tucker Kraft. I'm taking Tucker Kraft over TJ Hawkinson too.
Kraft's about to be a really good player, man.
I'm not.
Slow progress, Sean. You've said it yourself. The tight end position takes a while to develop. Tucker Kraft's on a very good trajectory right now to me to being one of the top players, top tight ends in the NFL. I think he could be a top 10 tight end in the NFL this year for sure.
Tucker Kraft?
Yeah.
I mean, he thrives after the catch. I mean, he's an active blocker. I don't know.
Really athletic, super athletic guy.
Okay, well, guys, let's just say that since me and Brandon are on the same page with the Packers at 3, then that's what it's going to be. It's going to be Bears 1, Lions 2, Packers 3, Vikings 4. That's the way we're going to have to go about this. As much as everyone likes TJ Hawkinson, I am not putting him on this list. Melon Smasher thinks Komet is going to have a much better season than Colston Loveland, and that's not like out of the realm of possibility. It's not a wild thing to say.
It's going to play more to start.
I mean,
but it's not disrespect, guys.
It does, man.
Because you think Colston Loveland can offer a different skill set than Cole Kmet, which he clearly does. Cole Kmet is not a physical guy like that. He is a reliable guy. He is he's not a finesse guy. He's not going to drop the ball. No, he's not a after the catch guy. He's not physically gifted like Colston Loveland is. It's a completely different skill set. That's why the Bears drafted the guy. That's why the Bears drafted Colston Loveland.
Hopefully, yeah. You don't want two of the same fucking guy.
Yeah, exactly. It's not disrespect.
I'm not disrespecting either. I'm just going to say
no, Sean.
At the end of the season, I think Colston Loveland and Cole Kmet are going to be very close in their numbers because of the other pass catchers on this team. I think if Burden takes a step forward, you have Rome with 1,000, you have DJ with 1,000, you got another 800-900 out of Burden. You're probably splitting 400-500 to each tight end. That's just my opinion. And I said this last week, and I mean it. I still think Cole Kmet, based on his history as a guy, sure-handed wide receiver, should be the Bears' number 1 option when it comes to red zone offense inside the 10 if you're looking for a 6'5", 250-pound target.
Bro, Cole Kmet is a Toyota. He's reliable. He's going to get you run up the mileage, and you're going to be good. You want to have some fun, go get Colston Loveland, who is a Lamborghini. You're going to have fun. You're going to or your Lexus or your Mustang or whatever. You're going to have fun.
Owned by Toyota.
Driving Colston Loveland. You're going to get where you need to get to with Cole Kmet. That's what I look at it.
John S. says Komet can't block, cannot block. It's going to cost him playing time. I hate to say it, depending on what scouting report, one of the biggest knocks on Colston Loveland is he couldn't block in college either. So you're going to put him against professionals. He's going
He
to
can inline block. He can't block
I
downfield.
hate to tell
He's
you guys,
a much better blocker than he gets credit
if
for.
you take out last year for Cole Kmet was a very efficient blocker. He had a problem in last year's offense.
Yeah, I think they're both. I think they're both known as good inline blockers. So they're both known as good. They're both on paper, and I'm not saying like, oh, I think personally they're both known on paper as good inline blockers. Like on the snap, when they get downfield, both Komet and Colston Loveland have troubles engaging on blocks downfield with linebackers. When they're on the line next to a tackle, when they're chipping,
Colston Loveland's better.
Really quality.
Colston Loveland might be better. Yeah,
they're both really quality blockers, and they both were said to be really quality inline blockers as they were drafted. Nothing's changed. These guys are good blockers when the ball is hiked. It's downfield when they're moving and they have to stay engaged with stronger players. That's where these guys start to fall a little bit.
I don't think it's going to be close, man. I think Colston Loveland is going to have more touchdowns. I think Colston Loveland is going to have more catches. I think he's going to have more yards than Cole Komet. I think Cole Komet will serve his role and serve it well. But there is clearly a reason Ben Johnson wanted Colston Loveland when he already had Cole
Colston
Komet.
Loveland's going to be used in ways you're not going to see.
Exactly. It's because Colston Loveland can add something to this offense that Cole Komet has no chance of adding.
You guys remember remember the screen passes to Cole Komet last year? I mean, I'm sorry. I was yelling at the fucking TV.
Why would you even do that? He can't do shit with the ball in his hands.
Colston Loveland is the guy. Colston Loveland's the kind of you can get the ball in his hands, get some blockers in front of him, and he'll create a play. He'll make space for himself.
And I like Cole Komet. This conversation does not have to turn into, well, you're disrespecting Cole Komet.
I do think Dustin
Cole Komet is going to bring something to the team that Colston Loveland isn't, and vice versa. Colston Loveland will stand out in a much better way.
I think Komet's a red zone target. I would consider Komet to be a red zone.
Loveland will establish himself as a better red zone target than Cole Komet this season.
I just Googled. Give me the biggest weaknesses for Colston Loveland. Number one, shows fundamentals in blocking, but lacks the true size to handle defensive ends. Number two, it says Loveland is not going to be a Rob Gronkowski in terms of two-way tight end. He cannot. He can go out for passes and make difficult. It's really small. Make it difficult on opposing defenses when it
That's
comes
what
to
she said.
him. But
I don't think any tight end can handle
relied on heavily for blocking. All I'm saying is you guys can read.
Okay, but Colston Loveland ain't there to pass block, bro. Colston Loveland is there to catch passes. He ain't there to pass block. That's not why he's there.
This is why I'm trying to tell you guys this. When I talk about Cole Komet will have more touchdowns, when you get in blocking packages inside the 10, you might not see Colston Loveland on the field because he can't do what Cole Komet can do. Hence why I say Cole Komet will have more touchdowns.
In Colston's defense
this year.
In Colston's defense, putting a bio together about a tight end and saying he can't block a defensive end is kind of redundant, because the reality, guys, is there's no tight end in the NFL that can block a defensive end one-on-one.
Look, you guys are going to.
Their job is to chip.
So you're blue in the face, and that's fine. I can't find a scouting report that says this guy is amazing at any kind of blocking. So
but he's not. Nobody should block.
Say he's going to be this. He's going to be great at blocking.
I don't want him here for that.
He's fucking great at blocking.
Okay, but he wasn't brought here to be that guy.
And
John.
what I'm saying, and what I'm saying,
and he will surpass Cole Komet in receiving because of the guy he is that he was brought here to be.
You're going to have DJ Moore, you're going to have Roma Dunze, and if Burden solidifies himself, Colston Loveland's going to fall somewhere in there in his rookie year, because becoming a tight end in the NFL is one of the hardest things to do. Do I think he'll eventually develop into maybe an Aaron Hernandez type player? God forbid I said his name. Aaron Hernandez type tight end.
I don't think there's any comp. I don't think there's any comp there.
I think he's more of a Gronk than any. But listen, I want to say this. What
did Aaron Hernandez do well? Get downfield and catch the puck.
Aaron Hernandez was more of a joker guy.
I want to say this though. Hold on, real quick. If you drafted, listen, all due respect, Cole Komet's a reliable player. I like Cole Komet. I love Notre Dame, but I want to say this. your 10th overall fucking pick better fucking be better than your fucking second round fucking tight end from fucking 4 years
Who
ago.
was on
Dude.
the team when the
That
10th overall pick
better
was drafted?
no,
Yes.
and hold on. This
Yes.
is not to you, Sean. This is not to you, Dustin. This is to Ben Johnson. That guy better be better than Cole Kmet. He fucking better be. And I'm serious. He
Hey,
better be
I'm
better
being
than
super
Cole Kmet.
serious right now.
Yeah, that's you cannot if you're drafting this guy to be a 600 yards and 3 touchdown kind of guy with the 10th overall pick, you really missed. You
Well,
really missed.
Well, all I gotta say is since he's not an Aaron Hernandez type, Aaron Hernandez, what was his strengths? One of the best route running tight ends. I'm reading it. I can capture it for you. Catches the ball away from his body, makes difficult
Aaron
receptions.
Hernandez was 6'1", Sean. Aaron
It
Hernandez
doesn't matter.
was
So you're talking
6'1".
about a couple fucking inches.
We got to move on
Look
from
at
the tight ends.
fucking bios of the same.
I gotta play
fucking
ref
Talking about
here.
player.
5 inches.
Oh
We're talking
my
about
God.
5
We gotta move
inches
on from
They
the-
do the same fucking thing. They
We gotta move
big
on from the
difference.
tight
one
ends.
fucking routes and
They
they
don't
catch
do
the
the
ball
same
away
thing.
from their body.
No.
Oh my God. Okay.
I don't think he's even comparable to Aaron Hernandez in any way.
All right.
I don't think.
All
We
right.
got to move on from the tight ends, though, guys.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
It's not even close. So we got the Bears number 1 at tight end, Lions number 2, Packers 3, and Vikings 4 in the tight end position. We're moving on to offensive line, guys. This will be fun. What do y'all think? What does the chat think? Who's
Detroit
the
is number
offensive
1.
line?
Detroit
Okay,
is number 1.
I think we're gonna have a disagreement right off the bat because I think Sean's with me here. I think the Vikings are the best offensive line.
The Vikings are number 1, and I don't know that it's that fucking close.
I don't think it's even close. When you lose your starting guard in Zietler and you lose your starting center after he retires unceremoniously, the Lions are not as good as they were before those things happened, and that is just facts.
I forgot about Ragnow's retirement.
Yeah. The Vikings went and drafted Donovan Jackson, who is going to be a stud like immediately. Mm-hmm. They went and signed Will Fries.
I'll give you the Vikings.
Christian
I think it's close.
I
think you're underselling Detroit, though. I think Detroit's still going to be a really good fucking offensive line.
I think Detroit has 2 really big holes, and I can explain that to you if you'd like.
Let's hear it.
You now have Tate Rutledge, a rookie with 0 NFL experience, and when you're switching staffs, you depend on that veteran quarterback for the center for that relationship, especially from the offensive side. Number 2, you have Graham Glasnow, who had 1,080 snaps. You know what he was last year? An overall 57 PFF grade, 56 in the pass block, 57 in the ride block. Now you have 2 humongous holes.
He's not,
and you have the best player to ever play right tackle ever in the NFL.
Yeah, their bookends are great. But that doesn't mean
without
the
a doubt,
that offensive line can't
not even close. Penei Sewell is worlds better than any other player that ever played right tackle in the NFL. He is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Penei Sewell
he is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Sure. He is going to hold up the right side of that line no matter who's playing next.
Hey, Brandon, what happens?
And I like Tate Ratledge.
Yeah, Ratledge next to Ratledge next to Sewell is intriguing to me.
That's really strong. That is strong.
Next to Graham Glasnow.
No, well, yeah, and in between Glasnow and Sewell, in between,
and I think if Tate Ratledge was going to be forced into a starting role, which he is, I think he's in the best forced into a starting role position he could possibly be in.
What's up, Razzle Dazzle? Thanks for hitting
us. What's up, Razzle Dazzle?
Tonight. Yeah, we love you. Thanks for joining us. So I think listen, the Lions, Taylor Decker, Christian Mahogany, okay, thanks. Graham Glasgow, Tate Ratledge, and Penei Sewell. I like Tate Ratledge and Penei Sewell. I like that a lot. There's no way I'm putting them over the Vikings.
Christian Mahogany has 75 snaps last year.
That's not good for them that he is now their starter.
Your whole interior line is fucking new, dude.
So do you guys not have Detroit second? You sound like you don't have Detroit second.
Let's get into it. Let's just establish this first, okay? Because
we did the Vikings.
But I just want to Christian Darrisaw, Donovan Jackson, Ryan Kelly, Will Fries, Brian O'Neill. Very good offensive line, guys.
Yeah, I mean it might take them a little while. That's like a puzzle that just got put together. We have to see what that looks like.
Hey Brandon, just so you know, last year Darrisaw, I know his season was cut short. 13th overall tackle. Brian O'Neill, 12th overall tackle. rated. So
I don't know
these
what
guys are a little bit
what are you
closer
trying to
to
convince me
Detroit.
of, man? I
They're,
said
they're a little
I
bit
agree.
closer. They're a little bit closer to Detroit on the bookends than you think. Is
And
all
as
I'm
Mellon,
saying.
yeah,
But
yeah, for sure.
I think it's going to take some time for that Minnesota line to be the best they can be.
I don't think so. I think they're the best offensive line.
Didn't you just say isn't Donovan Jackson a rookie?
Donovan Jackson is a
Donovan
rookie,
Jackson
yes,
is a
but
rookie.
I fucking love him, and I think he's going to be an
And
immediate
isn't Will
impact player in
Fries
the
a
NFL.
new addition and an
Will
aging
Fries
player?
was just signed. He's not aging. He's 28 or 29. He's not
26.
that old.
He's
Okay,
20.
there you go. Yeah. He's not aging.
Kelly is 31.
They just pulled him off of that Colts offensive line. This Vikings offensive line, as Mellon has pointed
Really
out, I will
good,
say
dude.
that
I'm
All right.
sorry, man.
All right, yeah, but
four first round picks.
we
on this
established
Vikings
their
offensive
first.
line.
Let's move
Yes.
on. We're dragging this. Let's move on. Who's second?
What you got somewhere to be? You got a hot date?
No, this is a lot of shit to get through. We're like
We're
1/8 of the way.
We're making great time. We're almost halfway. We're basically halfway through. Relax.
Yeah, we are halfway through.
Yeah,
I have the Bears at number 2, man. I like what they did. I like what they
Ooh,
did.
I would not agreed with you.
Listen, when you talk about
this is a straight. Hold on, Sean, real quick. I'm gonna let you make your point, but I just want to point out that we have screamed at each other for a month straight about this offensive line and the question marks. And me and Brandon have been trying to convince you and tell you that this offensive line is good, and you're telling me that there's these question marks and Jonah Jackson. So I'm just a little taken aback that you got the Bears number 2 right now.
I'll explain why. Because
please do.
When we get to
go
the
ahead,
Packers,
Sean.
when we get to the Packers, I don't think their offensive line is all that good.
Yeah, it's rough.
I don't either.
It's rough. It's rough.
The Lions, we just discussed, they have 3 new linemen, 2 which graded out last year.
Okay, so Sean, you're just saying the Bears are the best of the bunch.
I'm saying they're yes. And when you
Of
talk
what's
about
left
Penei Sewell, when you talk Brandon, you just said Penei Sewell is the best to ever do it at the position.
Yeah, he is.
Go look at his numbers, compare his career and Darnell Wright's. They're ascending like this close to each other. So that's telling me that Darnell Wright is ascending to be the best right tackle to ever play this position.
Second
and he's 23 years old and just continuing to get better.
He better be.
Right. He does seem like a clone of Penei Sewell, especially in this Ben Johnson.
And where he was drafted, he better damn well be, or shame on him.
So far he hasn't, and I'll remain the same here. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Left tackle is a huge question mark. But if Trapillo can continue to progress, and that's the guy that goes out there and does everything that he can be, this line has a lot of potential. I just don't like.
Tear down, Ron.
I don't like Jonah Jackson. I don't like the Packers line. I think the Packers have a lot of holes. I think Aaron Banks was a terrible signing.
Sean, did you see that? Did you see that the guard duel for the Bears from that guy with PFF? He had him as like the number 5.
I saw that.
Guard duel in the NFL between Jonah Jackson and Joe Thuney. The Joe Thuney addition makes a huge
Joe
difference.
Thuney's number 2 in the league. He played.
If Jackson
and Dahlman was number 5.
Hey, if Jackson can return to form under Ben Johnson, the way he performed with Ben Johnson in Detroit, they got something. But I'll be honest, I've said this 2 weeks ago.
He's got to stay healthy.
We talked about it last Wednesday, and we'll say it again. I love Bill Murray backing up Jonah Jackson. I think that
I love Bill Murray too.
I love
Luke
Newman backing up anyone.
Luke Newman as well, yeah.
You also have Drew Dahlman here, who is considered by most the top 5 center. So
yeah, he is.
That's just where I'm at. I don't think the offensive lines, when you start falling apart.
John, you've convinced me. I'm going to go Bears too, because I think between Joe Thuney, Dahlman, and Wright, you have 3 players who are top 5 at their position. I'll say that. You have 3 players who are top 5.
Okay, so the Bears have drastically improved their interior of their offensive line. And it looks like you guys, if Brandon's going to agree with you, then we're going with the Bears at number 2. I don't think the Bears are number 2. I'm going to put the Lions at number 2. Okay. The Bears would be number 3 to me. But if Brandon's going to go, then that's what it is. The Bears have drastically improved the interior of their offensive line, which was obviously their biggest weakness on this team in general. Joe Thuney, Dahlman, and Jonah Jackson. I mean, it's just amazing.
Braxton to improve.
I don't know about Braxton, or if it's going to be Trapillo, or if it's going to be Karan Amagaji. They have options. That's what I like. And there's going to be a competition, and Ben Johnson will get the best guy of those 3 into that spot. So, and Darnell Wright will certainly improve, Brandon. I'm not going to bank on Braxton Jones improving. But Darnell Wright, so you're talking about 4 out of 5 guys.
I mean, if Braxton Jones plays next to Joe Thuney, he'll play better.
At the very least, you're talking about 3 out of 5 guys that have Pro Bowl potential on this offensive line. I don't know that you can say 2 for sure on the Lions, right? 2, and I really like Tate Ratledge, man. So I'm splitting hairs here. Just because of the veteran ability of Sewell and Taylor Decker and how much I like Tate Ratledge and just the consistency the Lions have
Tate
had in the
Ratledge
run
is a
game.
stud in the making.
I would have the Lions at number 2, but if we're going Bears 2, if Brandon, if you're the tiebreaker and you're saying the Bears are 2, then that's what we're going.
If you're talking about an adjustment period for veterans on a Minnesota line, what do you think the adjustment period is going to be for Tate Ratledge at center?
No, I said adjustment period for a rookie on the Minnesota line.
Well, in general, you talk about Will Fries coming in too.
Yeah. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think the player that the rookie on Minnesota is playing next to is not Penei Sewell, so it's going to be a little harder for him than it will be for.
Well, he's playing next to Christian Darrisaw.
Yeah, he's the top 10
next to Ryan Kelly. Yeah. So
listen. Penei Sewell to me just makes a bigger difference than I think you think he does. I don't know.
Melon Smasher's got Vikings, Green Bay, Lions, Bears. Listen,
shocker.
The Bear, he's a Packers fan. It seems like based on everything.
It's a shocker. He has the Bears last.
Is he a Packers fan? Melon, are you a Packers fan? The way you talk about the Packers is very. You're like obsessed with them. For sure.
I don't see where you look at an offensive line on this Green Bay team. Let's
just break it down real quick and look at them just for conversation's sake.
Rasheed Walker is rough.
Rasheed Walker is not very good. You got Anthony Belton behind him. Aaron Banks from the Niners, who they just overpaid drastically in this offseason. I did not like that move. Elgton Jenkins is really good, guys.
So is Sean Ryan.
Are the only 2 good dudes on this line. Everyone else sucks.
Sean Ryan, Jordan Morgan behind that, right? And Zach Tom. The Packers.
Zach Tom's stud.
I mean, so then are you saying that that Packers O-line is not better than the Bears O-line? Yeah,
It's not because Zach Tom and Jenkins are the only 2 good players on it.
Sean Ryan's not a terrible player. Rasheed Walker is the worst starting offensive lineman in the NFC North. I would have to say.
Wow.
I mean,
Zach
Tom
maybe. Rasheed Walker really struggled last season, man. He really struggled last season. I mean, the Bears got the best of him. Austin Booker got the best of Rasheed Walker last year.
Real quick, for me, it's go ahead, Sean.
Zach Tom was 4th overall in tackles last year, 12th in passing, and 3rd in run blocking. He is an absolutely sensational.
Okay, so you're making a case for the Packers.
I'm making a case for Zach Tom, Jenkins. That's it.
Well, Bears those are 2 very good players on that offensive line. That offensive line did do a damn good job protecting their quarterback last year and running the football. They did those things well. Whether that's a function of the Matt LaFleur system or what. I mean, they don't have a lot of turnover on this offensive line from last year to this. Banks is their new addition, correct?
Yes.
And everybody else is the same.
Rasheed Walker run blocking grade was a 54 at 107th in the league, and his pass blocking grade was 79 at 21st, but overall 44th in the league. And guys,
Sean Ryan's numbers ain't
wasn't that Rasheed who is the player that the Packers? This is not the player from Auburn.
Who are you talking about?
What? Are you talking about Anthony Belton?
No, the Packers a year ago in the 1st round drafted
Jordan Morgan out of Arizona.
Where is he?
He's a backup guard on their team. He was drafted to be a guard. He was not drafted as a top.
Oh, really? And he was a 1st round pick. He's just nothing.
Yeah. He's the backup guard on their depth chart right now. Now, if he jumps into that starting lineup, maybe that changes things a little bit. So we're going Bears at 2, guys. Brandon, are you with Sean on Bears? I got the Lions at 2. I mean, Sean had the Bears. You're the tiebreaker. What are we going at 2?
I'm gonna go Bears.
We're going Bears at 2. I think that's a bit of an overstep, but I like the moxie.
Hey, you
I
guys
like the confidence.
Joe Tooney and Darnell Wright, man. Joe Tooney and Darnell Wright are.
I gave you what you want.
Oh, Kyle Harris just jumped in. Good
timing, Kyle.
I think was the least sacked QB in the NFC. Yeah, he was only sacked 14 times, as Melon Smasher has pointed out, 14 times. So yes, they did a good job protecting their quarterback. And Oliver says, let's do this again during next year's offseason, fellas. I mean, no, that's why we're here. We got to have something to talk about.
But next year's offseason, we'd be projecting the 2026
It's a whole new different thing. Yeah. But thanks to Kyle for joining. It's been a while since I've seen him, man. Hope everything is well. Hope that beard is growing nice. Good to see you, brother.
I saw Kyle last week.
Oliver, nice. Oliver has Minnesota, Detroit, Chicago, and Green Bay. That's what I would have as well, Oliver. But we're going the 4 stars list after after some consternation, is going to be Vikings at 1, Bears at 2, Lions at 3, and Packers at 4. Harris,
And I do expect this Bears offensive line guys to have fewer than 40 sacks, which if you're coming down from 62 or 68 is probably the best improvement of any unit in the NFL.
There is no question the Bears have really improved this offensive line. I just don't want to drink that much Kool-Aid that quick to make them the second best offensive line in the NFC North. But the Lions have had a lot of regression, and they lost some key players to that offensive line. So there is a case to be made for it, guys. When you talk about adding Joe Tooney, Dahlman, and Jonah Jackson, it's a huge improvement. So we'll see how it goes. What are we going to now? D-line?
We can go D-line.
For sure. I mean, where are we at with that? Who do you guys like as the number 1 D-line in this division? What's your gut?
I like Minnesota, man.
I like Minnesota as well.
Minnesota.
Yeah, I don't.
You know what was weird?
They've really improved. The signing of Jonathan Allen, already having Greenard and then you can't really consider him defensive line, but Van Ginkel helps create pressure from everybody on that line too, man. I mean, this Jonathan Allen, Greenard,
Phillip Hargrave.
Hargrave.
Don't
I don't know much.
Dallas Turner.
Dallas Turner's a linebacker, but
yeah, he's a linebacker.
You know what's weird, guys? I really thought that this was a base 4-3, but on when you look at their depth chart, it's saying they're a base 3-4, and they got.
I think Hargrave, Allen, and Greenard are your. Although Greenard's listed as a linebacker too. I don't know, man.
Dallas Turner.
None of these guys are listed.
None
of these guys are listed on the defensive line. None of the guys that actually make a difference on this football team.
Brian Flores runs a lot of 4-3 concept. I mean, he's a very hybrid defense for sure. So I mean, I think if you're talking defensive line with the Vikings, you kind of got to include Dallas Turner in that combination and Greenard, right? You got to include Jonathan Greenard in there as well. I don't know about Van Ginkel. He blitzed the hell out of
Van Ginkel, yeah. But that's in the linebacking room. I have Turner, Grenard, and what's his name, Van Ginkel in my linebacker listing. So
I want to let's actually I'm going to retract that, man, because we have to consider these players linebackers when we do the linebacker.
No, I think we got to consider them. I think Dallas Turner and Greenard are pass rushers. They're down.
They're edge. Yeah, let's list them as edge players.
They're edge.
All right, then I'm going to give the Vikings the nod.
Flex has Vikings 1, Packers 2, Lions and Bears tied for last. I want to make a case for the Lions, guys, just on the strength of Aiden Hutchinson returning this season and dominating as he did last year. That is something.
They made a big season. They made a big signing last offseason at the tackle position. DJ Reader. Reader out of Cincinnati, they signed last year, and Aleem McNeil, who was injured all last year, is one of the most. I'm with Flex Diggs though, man. I got the Packers after the Vikings.
Listen, Aleem McNeil is one of the most dominant nose tackles in the NFL when he's playing, and they got Marcus Davenport there, man. I don't know. I like their 4-down linemen a lot. I think
Rashawn Gary, Kenny Clark.
The Packers are good too.
Yeah. Lucas Van Ness is developing into a really good player. Kenny Clark's a stud, and Rashawn Gary is one of the best players in the NFL, honestly, probably.
I think you can make a case for the Packers to be number 1 in this category. If
I had said the Vikings we're going to consider guys linebackers, I think the Packers are number 1. And that's who I put on the thumbnail because I tried to put a guy who leads their best unit, man. And the Packers are really, really good at getting after the quarterback, man. And it kind of came quietly. They just this is solid football.
Why don't we just do D-line linebackers together?
I like Devontae Wyatt as well. No, I don't want to do that. I think we're good. I think we just adding Dallas Turner and Jonathan Greenard. If you guys got the Vikings at number 1 with those two on that,
if those guys are edge, if we're going to consider them edge, yes, the Vikings are 1. If we leave them at linebacker, the Packers are number 1.
So we're going to leave. We're going to have them at edge. So you guys both have the Vikings at number 1 for the D.
Yes. I think there's a lot of pass rush talent there, man. Dallas Turner's not even really close to what he's going to be in the NFL, too. So then Dallas Turner might end up being the best player on that Vikings defense.
Then the Packers are 2?
I'm kind of.
What do you got, Sean?
I kind of have the Lions.
I could get with you on that, man. I really could. It's a toss-up for me. It's a toss-up.
It's really tough.
I love Rashawn Gary.
It's the Aiden Hutchinson effect. I mean, the guy is could be the most dominant lineman in football.
Yeah, exactly.
He He is, Sean. If he's healthy, he is. At this stage of his career, he's the best edge
And
rusher
then
in the
again,
NFL.
those two defensive tackles that they have, I mean, are just dominant forces. Those guys are big beastly bastards.
Reeder and McNeil. You're talking about
Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah.
Aiden Hutchinson was on pace to beat the all-time sack record in a single season by like 3.5 sacks before his injury, man.
But you know,
this guy's an animal.
Can we do 2.5?
No, we cannot. That's lame.
We'll give
That's
the Packers and the Lions a split.
Listen, Kenny Clark is a damn good defensive tackle too, and Devontae Wyatt. I mean, the Packers,
a good player too.
Yeah, man.
Packers have spent a lot of draft capital.
I got Packers number 2. There's no way.
And Sean's got the Lions number 2, and I'm gonna have to jump on with Sean on this one, man, because of Aiden Hutchinson coming back healthy, and I love those defensive tackles. I mean, the fact that this guy can be a 20 sack guy in the league, if he was on pace to dominate.
I still think the Packers are going to have more sacks than the Lions.
Here, Brandon, I think it's like that close.
Like it's really very close.
Yeah, these all these units are well above the Bears. I mean, to be honest, all 3 of these were a close call, and if you add those guys as edges, that gives the Vikings the nod. But the Packers are going to have a lot of sacks cumulatively this year, and probably more than the Lions, I would say. Listen, the Lions' defensive line is really good, not at rushing the passer. So I guess it depends upon what you're because I think the Lions are a really quality run defending unit. I like the Packers much more when it comes to getting pass rush from everywhere. Yeah, Rashawn Gary, man, is not talked about enough.
Rashawn Gary is a very good player, but he is nowhere near the level of Aiden Hutchinson.
I was going to say, for me, if I take the rooms and I say they're like this close, then I just take the best player out of that room, and that's
Aiden Hutchinson's the best player in the league at that position.
Real quick, guys. I do want to talk about the Bears D line a little bit because I'd be remiss if we didn't. Oliver says I have Minnesota. I have Minnesota, Detroit, Green Bay, and Chicago.
Okay, so he's got it the way we have it.
Yep, Melon Smasher has the Vikings, Green Bay, Lions, Bears.
I mean,
it was very close.
Close, guys. The Lions and Packers have very, very, very close defensive line units in talent. Very close. They're pretty good. Both pretty good.
The pass rush for the Bears is a concern for us, right? In terms of are we going to get after the quarterback? Not just sack, but get the pressure on the quarterback, affect the play, make the quarterback make some mistakes. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. I have some faith in Austin Booker. I have a lot of faith in Javon Dexter. And I really like the Grady Jarrett addition that as we discussed.
The Bears have the potential to have the best interior defensive line in the NFC North.
Throw Billings in there with that defensive tackle rotation could be scary. It's about if Austin Booker steps up this year, man.
Or Shamar Turner, being a stud, man. He's a second-round pick who should have been drafted a little higher than he was.
Said about him in practice, they have to calm him down.
Yeah, Dennis Allen. Well, it was we talked about this, me and Dustin. It was a pretty fucked up analogy. He used like a horse analogy. He's like, I'd always like to pull the reins before using the whip.
Yeah, I gotta whip him a little. Yeah, that was some problematic.
Right. We're walking a fine line there, Dennis Allen. Yeah. But no,
Michael Anderson, Sean, guys.
They have said he's getting a little chippy with his own teammates after the whistle.
Have we seen Michael Anderson before? Real quick, have we seen Michael Anderson before?
I have not.
I have not seen Michael Anderson.
Michael Anderson, welcome to the chat, my brother.
Thanks for joining us. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that like button. Thanks.
That's for you, Michael.
Really quick too. One guy that we have not talked about, I haven't heard much early in OTAs, but Xavier Carlton. When I was doing some research.
I like him.
Lines today, 115 quarterback pressures over his last 3 years, was tied for 28th in all of college football. This guy's got a little get up and go to him, man. So don't sleep on that guy.
I mean, when you watch his tape, he looks a little slow, coming off the ball, but he seems to be able to use a bull rush very well. At least he was in college. We'll see if he can translate that to the NFL. But I liked him as an undrafted free agent signing for the Bears. I don't know what that's going to produce for the Bears this season. I think you got to count on Austin Booker to have a massive upgrade in his performance and production this season, man.
I think Deo needs to get home, man. Deo needs to get close to 10 sacks. He can't be a guy who gets 100 pressures and 2 sacks. That's just it. Listen, I know what you guys say. Pressures disrupt things, but negative plays make a bigger difference to me. And if you're putting an offense 10 yards back as opposed to they threw an incompletion because you got in the quarterback's face, There's a difference. There's a difference there. There's a
Or
major
if you throw an
difference.
interception, again, pressures can create havoc and cause mistakes that lead to the
But
ball
negative
going the
plays
other
are
way.
much more common than turnovers in likelihood, and negative plays just don't come enough from the Chicago Bears defense. They don't.
Oh yeah, for sure. But the let's not discount what pressure on the quarterback does to an offense, man.
Dante Pierce says fine ass line. Yeah, I'm with you, Dante. I was a little when he said that, I was like, oh shit.
And don't forget
who said that? I'm blanking.
We're talking about Dennis Allen's analogy.
Oh
over,
yeah.
It's like I was like, oh, all right. Yeah, I would have probably avoided that.
Yeah, I was a little
fucked up, but
oh yeah, PCA.
What do you do?
Lex Diggs says PCA.
It's all about making that PCA. Hell yeah, baby. He doubled
because the boys in the hood.
Doubled into the corner. Cubbies are up 3-2.
Hell yeah.
Really
very
quick.
nice.
PCA's the shit.
It's unbelievable.
Really quick, Tyler Beatty, undrafted free agent out of BYU from Minnesota, 13.5% pressure rate, 143 quarterback pressures during his 4 years in college. Undrafted free agent signed by Minnesota. Someone I wish the Bears would have grabbed, but that guy's also a sneaky rotational player on that Minnesota Vikings front.
Yeah, Melon Smasher. If I had to rank the defensive coordinators in the NFC North, Brian Flores is my number one.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. No, I'd have to go with you. I'd have to go with you.
Dennis Allen.
I like Dennis.
No
Allen.
fucking way you take Dennis
Allen. Flores is like the Ben Johnson of defense.
If I went off of Dennis Allen's career in New Orleans, where he inherited the 29th ranked defense and turned him into a top 10 unit, his last 5 years there, yeah, I'm taking that.
Brian Flores was a better head coach than Dennis Allen.
What's up, guys?
Brian
Don't
Flores
call
was
me
a better
guy, friend.
Flores was a better head coach than Dennis Allen was.
Who was that?
Flores was a better head coach than Dennis Allen.
Neither one of them were very good. I don't know.
No.
I was gonna say,
but to me, man, Flores is like the Ben Johnson of defensive coordinators. He's just very innovative. He's tricky. He disguises things. He makes things look like they should. You know what I mean? He does the same shit, Ben. He just doesn't want to make it easy on anyone. If you're a young quarterback and you're about to play that guy, you're in fucking trouble, dude.
He gave Caleb Williams fits last year, guys, and I think he's going to again this year. He's going to again this year because he gives pro quarterbacks fits too.
Yeah, I'm with Melon Smasher. That guy's the problem.
When they're playing for the division, how does defense look going up against the Detroit Lions? Did he get embarrassed?
Yeah, not so good, but neither defense looked good in that game.
Exactly.
I mean, it was.
Well, the Lions had 17 players on IL.
No defenses looked good against the Lions in the last 3 years, man. None. Not a single one.
And this is why I'm very excited, because Brian Flores gave up 30 points a game versus Ben Johnson. Good luck playing the Bears.
Ben Johnson has the upper hand. So for the D-line, guys.
As did Matt Eberflus.
For the D-line, we got the Vikings 1, Lions 2, Packers 3, Bears 4. Let's move on to linebackers here. We gotta get to the
linebackers.
Linebackers.
We're gonna split hairs here. I got Green Bay number 1, man.
We're not
okay.
Listen, I think Edgerrin Cooper is about to be one of the best players in the NFL.
Quay Walker is very good as well.
Yeah, he's a stud. Quay Walker's an animal, and I think Edgerrin Cooper is about to be one of the best players.
He is a damn good player. I like that. I mean, Sean, where are you at?
I have Minnesota with Grenard, Van Ginkel, and Blake Cashman.
Well, we already put Grenard at defensive line, so you can't.
Well, he's listed as a linebacker.
Blake Cashman.
I mean, right,
no. You got Blake Cashman, Ivan Pace, and Andrew Van Ginkel. That's who we got to go with for the Vikings.
Van Ginkel's a stud, man.
Ivan Pace is a backup, dude. Grenard is listed as their starting linebacker, dude.
I know, but he lines up
Ivan
at
Pace
the edge.
Is listed as the other one, Sean. It's Ivan Pace at left inside linebacker, Blake Cashman at right. And then the Sam is Andrew Van Ginkel. The will linebacker is Jonathan Grenard. That's in a 3-4. That's like I don't know how much 3-4
guys. I think Quay Walker and Edgerrin Cooper is going to be a better player than Van Ginkel. Not in the same role. He's not getting sacks, but he is. Edgerrin Cooper is going to be one of the best linebackers in the NFL. I firmly believe that.
I was very close with this one because Quay Walker and Cooper are both very, very good.
Can I tempt you with some Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards action, guys? We're not going to put the Bears number 1 on this list.
No.
What about Alex Anzalone and
we know how I feel about We know how I feel. Listen, Campbell
Oh,
on
here,
the
I have
Lions.
the Bears. I have the Bears at 4.
Campbell on the Lions is a stud too, man.
Alex Anzalone and Dan Campbell. We got
Campbell's. I have Anzalone. I could care
Jack
less.
Campbell. Sorry, Jack Campbell.
Well,
Jack Campbell's a stud.
Look, Jack Campbell made a significant leap from his rookie year last season.
Yeah, he did. He's progressing the way you'd like a player to. Listen, hold on, guys.
Linebacker.
Let me tell you. Let me read this real quick. Edgerrin Cooper was a rookie last year. His run defensive grade was 79. His pass rush grade was 90. His overall grade was 84 because his coverage grade was also a 74. This kid is a fucking stud in the making. He was a rookie.
Disagreeing with you.
No. I'm just because we have a Bears fan base. We have a Bears fan base. I just want to say, guys, why I believe this, because I'm praising a Packers player. This kid, from what he did in his rookie year, all signs point to him being a top 5 linebacker in the NFL.
So Sean's got the Vikings. Brandon, you got the Packers. I'm gonna go.
I mean, if I'm looking at the depth chart and you're saying Grenard's not the linebacker, I understand he plays edge and he comes off.
Sean's having a problem.
But we already did this. We already put him on the line for the Vikings, and that's why the Vikings.
When I'm looking up their depth chart, he's listed as a linebacker.
I know, but he's an edge. He's a pass rusher. He's not dropping back in coverage. He's not a traditional linebacker as we're talking about. So
Quay
we already
Walker
made this decision.
Don't undermine Quay Walker. Quay Walker has been a really.
So are you sticking with the Vikings if you can't have Grenard? Because you can't have Grenard. So are you sticking with the Vikings?
On their depth chart, they're listed as the starting
Sean,
linebacker.
I understand that, Sean, but we already took him and put him on the D line, so we can't have him play both positions.
You can't do that.
What do you want to do here, Sean? We just did. We already did that.
Say he's not a linebacker. He's listed as a freaking linebacker.
Were you watching
the Khalil Mack linebacker? Was Khalil Mack a linebacker on the Bears, Sean? Was he a linebacker?
Listed as a linebacker.
Yeah, but he was a pass rusher.
Was he playing? Because you can't. He was, because they just don't use the term edge.
I just said I understand he comes off the edge and he attacks the quarterback.
And they don't use that term in the NFL, but they will. That will become a thing soon. Because the college football uses
pass rush. I understand this. I get it.
Okay.
But again, when I look at the Vikings depth chart, they're starting linebackers.
We all have it in front of us.
We all see that. Yes, we all see that. We all see that. But we have already decided.
Asking me about a unit, Grenard, Van Ginkel, and Cashman.
All right, he's got the Vikings. Justin, what do you?
Turner. If you want to take Jonathan Grenard off and put Dallas Turner in there, sure.
Dallas Turner and Grenard are edges. We already did this, so we had this conversation already, Sean. We already decided that we're putting them on the D line, and that's why we went with the Vikings. So linebacker wise, with no Greenard and no Dallas Turner, because that's what it is in that unit, are you still taking the Vikings number 1? Van Ginkel, Pace, Cashman. That's what you're judging them off of. That's the way we were doing this. We've already decided that.
I guess I'm being forced not to, but
you are 100% because we already decided this.
So
we had this conversation already.
Let's just, if you want to put the Vikings first based on who you consider linebacker on their team, put the Vikings first. So that would say Dustin's the deciding factor. I have the Packers at number 1.
You guys both have.
You can put Dallas Turner and Greenard as linebackers. I still have the Packers as number 1. Quay Walker and Edgerrin Cooper are 2 of the best linebackers in the NFL. And listen,
I got the Packers.
Saying this again. Edgerrin Cooper could end up being the best linebacker in the NFL if his projection continues, because by the end of last year, he was a top 5 player at that position, and the way that he played the position.
He could certainly be the best linebacker in the NFC North, Brandon. I'll get with you there. I don't know about the NFL. I mean, I like him. He's a damn good player. He makes an impact on the game, and I like Quay Walker an awful lot too. He causes a lot of disruption in the pass game and in the run game. So, I mean, they got 2 really good players there. So I think that's what puts them over the top. But the Vikings, will we put second? Or are we going Jack Campbell and Anzalone with the Lions? Or are we going TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds? Does anyone want to make a case for the Bears? I mean, Sean already said he's got them 4.
I have them 4th. I'm with Sean on that. I can't waver on that because I don't think that Tremaine Edmonds is anywhere near the player he's.
One thing I will say is that Tremaine Edmonds eventually is going to get back to at least his play that he had in Buffalo, and Dennis Allen might be the guy to do it for him. TJ Edwards is solid all the time, and he shows up, and he always makes the tackle when he's in position to do it. The Bears, we're discrediting the Bears a little bit here with their ability.
No, TJ Edwards is a stud. I'm sorry. I think Tremaine Edmonds is one of the worst middle linebackers I've personally watched in my lifetime play on the Chicago Bears. I think Roquan Smith was a better inside linebacker. Obviously, Brian Urlacher was, Mike Singleton. I mean, all those. He is the worst middle linebacker in my lifetime on this football team.
That's something worth thinking
about.
Well,
the Cubs are about to blow this one. This is fantastic. Bases loaded, no outs, bottom of the 11th.
Yeah, that's definitely over.
Brockmeyer impression going on there.
Although is Palencia, who's on the mound, Sean?
Valencia's pitching is back-to-back innings, which I've said a million times on the North Side.
Shouldn't do.
Dumbest fucking idea to do. He can't do it. He proves it every fucking time.
That's the one thing Hodge
putting him in this position.
That's the one thing Hodge could do. Hodge could give you a couple innings. Yeah, Palencia is not that guy.
God damn it.
Okay, so are we going Vikings 2 here at the linebackers, or are we going Detroit?
Pay me $20 million to run this goddamn bullpen?
You wish.
I'm going to actually, Dustin, I'm going Chicago over Detroit.
Okay, so who's number 2? Is the Vikings? Is that what we're going with? The Vikings?
I'm going Packers. I'm going. Yeah, I don't know, because you're taking those guys out of context.
Man, listen, I'll put the Bears at 2. I'm not taking anything. I'll put the Bears at 2 on my list, guys.
If we're going strictly linebackers, yeah, you know what? I'll go Green Bay, Chicago, and then I'll go Detroit, man. If we took those guys out, besides Van Ginkel, man, I don't love anything about that linebacking core there.
Well,
the guys who are actually playing that position.
The Vikings do rush 4 often, and Turner and Greenard are the defensive ends.
I know, and the guys who are left, to play the middle of the. To be honest with you, Dustin, Van Ginkel rushes just as much. And Van Ginkel rushes just as much as he does.
Different shit. But when you
Van Ginkel had 8 sacks last season.
Inside linebacker is who?
Anyways, I think if I'm talking about a linebacker core, I would put the Bears as high as second on this list. But I mean, if you guys think the Vikings are in there, or the Detroit Lions, who I don't want to discount Anzalone and Jack Campbell. So
Jack Campbell's a stud.
He's a damn good. Anzalone was a big part of that defense, man. He made a big difference when he came back for them too. I guess we can say this is clearly the toughest category of all of them.
Yeah, we could say Green Bay, Detroit. Who's Derek Barnes?
Sean, are we good with Detroit as the number 2 linebacker core after Green Bay?
I would have Minnesota, but
okay. So then,
I have Minnesota number 1, Green Bay number 2, Lions 3, Bears 4. So that's
we went Packers 1, Vikings.
That's a fucking game.
Listen, I'm gonna include Van Ginkel in that Vikings linebacker core, and we'll go ahead and put the Vikings at 2 on that list.
All right. So then Bears, Lions.
So we got the Lions. Sean has the Lions at 3. Brandon, you got the Lions over the Bears?
I like Jack Campbell. I love Jack Campbell, man. I don't like Anzalone. I don't think he's that good of a football player. I really don't. I think he's just a
take Tremaine Edmonds
football player.
I would take Tremaine Edmonds. Yeah.
I think he's a cheap football player.
The Bears linebackers over the Lions linebackers.
Yeah, I don't think
I'll take the Bears linebackers over the Lions linebackers.
Anzalone is not, to me, anywhere near the top of the league at that position, man. I don't know.
Okay. So we got the Bears 3 on our list, and we got the Lions 4 at the linebacker position.
Yeah.
Okay, Packers 1, Vikings 2. Moving on to DBs, guys. We're going to put the cornerback safeties all together in a big old pot, mix them up, and see what we got. DBs, guys.
By the way, Anzalone is ranked 70th in the NFL. 70th. That's not anything special.
Okay, so Packers, Vikings, Bears, Lions, linebacker core in the NFC North. Now we're on to DB. Sean, you with us?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
he's pissed.
He's upset about the the Cubs game.
Yeah, we all are. Yeah, Cubs blew it. And
those were the games over.
Those were the games. Yeah, those were the games they were winning, man. Games like those.
Thanks, Erica. Thanks for the update. Cubs lose 4-3. Listen, you got to be in games like that to have a chance. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but at least they're getting the experience playing against.
And at least PCA did it again. PCA did
Yeah,
his shit.
exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's a good game. You know, there's a
You
lot
have
of
you
there's
have,
so many fucking games in the MLB every
I do have
season.
a
Jesus
brand
Christ.
new awesome PCA negative rookie card on the way. It's fucking sick.
Yeah, I bet.
Very cool.
I'm Sean. I'm becoming obsessed with this player. That kid is the shit. He's so fun to watch. But Dustin, when it goes to DBs,
Hey,
I
Brandon,
don't
you
think
wanna
I'm
know?
being
You
biased
want to
here.
know what's funny? I've been holding on to his rookie cards now for about 5.
Yeah, you've been
freaking
preaching,
years,
Sean.
dude.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna say some 4 stars here and now. Sean Lugo has been telling me about PCA for the last 5 fucking years. So, like, credit to you, man. You saw talent where I
Love this
didn't. I
guy.
thought he was gonna bust. But guys, I
They
think
got
the Bears.
DBs.
I think the Bears take this
I
not
think
cleanly, not cleanly.
I think it's the
Not
Bears, but I don't
worlds,
think
not
it's really.
worlds in a way. I do think the Bears take this with
Okay.
the DBs.
I
Then
think
let
it's
me
world,
just
I think it's worlds away. I
let's
think
read
Jalen
the
Johnson's the best corner. I think
Detroit is
Kevin
good,
Byard's
man.
the best nickel corner. I think Kevin Byard is insane. I think Brisker coming back is going to make this unit better. I like our depth. I like Terrell Smith. I like Elijah Hicks maybe a little bit more than you guys. I think the depth behind
Definitely.
our starters is awesome. I think this group is deep. It's one of the deepest on the Bears roster. Minnesota
It's
has no
the deepest.
secondary. Detroit has 2 players in their secondary that they can count on, and Joseph and Branch. Outside of that, there's not much there. And the Packers secondary outside of
No,
McKinney
they just signed DJ Reed, Sean.
DJ Reed, yeah. I was
They
gonna
just
say
signed
Reed's,
DJ Reed.
he's a good player.
Yeah, that's a
Who,
big deal for
And
that
and
fucking
and, and,
secondary.
and let's give
Yep.
Terrion Arnold
Detroit?
let's give Terrion
Terrion
Arnold
Arnold.
let's give him
Yeah.
a little bit of time to put the verdict out.
And honestly, he played his ass
we're
off
talking
last
about
year
right now.
in a tough situation. He did.
What
He
we're
did.
talking about right now, it's.
I love Kirby Joseph.
For me, it's not close.
I love
Okay, so
Kirby Joseph.
let's just read through it real quick. Terrion Arnold, Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph, DJ Reed, Ennis Rakestraw. You got Amik Robertson as a backup. This is the Lions, right? Khalil Dorsey. The backups aren't the greatest. It's not the best.
No,
For the
it's
Bears,
not.
we obviously know their depth chart. For the Packers, Carrington Valentine. Who's that? Evan Williams. Okay. Xavier McKinney. Love
Evan
him.
Williams? Is that his name?
Yeah. They just drafted him, I believe, or drafted him last year.
Doesn't he own like a bourbon company or something?
He's Keyshawn Nixon and Nate Hobbs. They got Javon Bullard and as the backup there.
Nate Hobbs couldn't cover me. That guy sucks.
He's another guy you got to give some. You got to give some time potentially.
How long has
Nate Hobbs been?
Keyshawn Nixon is their best player in their secondary now that Alexander's gone.
Okay, Keyshawn Nixon, and then the Vikings we're looking at Byron Murphy, who's a damn good cornerback. Mekhi Blackman, Harrison Smith, Josh Metellus, Isaiah Rogers, Jeff Okuda as a backup over there.
Byron Murphy and Harrison Smith, good football players. But I mean, Harrison Smith still played good last year, and he's getting pretty old, and he's still
like 40.
Yeah, and he's still playing good football.
Jack Daniels at nickel. So yeah, I mean, I think I'm trying not to be biased here. I really like that Lions secondary. There's some damn good playmakers.
Nate Hobbs going into his 5th year. Last year, he's a 48.5 pass rush grade, 60 run and 60 cover.
Wait, Dustin, who's
we don't need to give him any time.
Dustin, who's their nickel? The Vikings?
The nickelback for the Vikings is Byron Murphy Jr.
I thought you said
Byron
Jack
Murphy's
Daniels.
good.
This Dante Purify said Jack Daniels at nickel because.
Oh yeah, it's like what the seriously.
That's a callback. No, Byron Murphy Jr. Byron Murphy Jr. is the best nickel cornerback in the NFC North, guys. He's better than Kyler Gordon right now. I don't know that that's debatable. Sean would debate it. Byron Murphy Jr.
Here we go.
Byron Murphy Jr. is the best nickel cornerback right now in the NFC North.
Oh God!
Whatever you're smoking, go put that shit down.
He
Don't ever hit it again.
He is. Kyler Gordon's right there, but I would take Byron Murphy.
Murphy's a stud, Sean. He is.
He's a damn good player.
Murphy's a damn good
player.
Okay,
he's all right.
He's not better than Kyler.
I didn't hear you. I didn't catch you say that.
No, he's not better than. He's not better. No.
Okay, well, so we got the Bears number 1. Brandon, you got the Bears as the number 1 DB.
Yes.
Group.
Yes,
and Sean, you got the Bears
Jalen Johnson. There's no player that touches Jalen Johnson in the NFC North.
I think the Bears are going to be higher on this list once we get done with this than we expected, boys. All right, so who's number 2? The Lions. I think you can make a case for Lions being number 1. Lions be 2 for sure.
My ranking was Bears, Lions, Vikings, Packers.
Brandon, are you in agreement with that? Vikings over
No,
the Packers?
that Vikings DB is awful, man.
Yeah.
They didn't improve, and they were one of the. I think they were ranked 30. Weren't they ranked last in the league? They were ranked last in the
They
league.
gave up a lot of passing yards
Yeah.
last year, that's for
I
sure.
believe they were ranked 32nd
And the
in the
Packers were
NFL.
a lot better than people expected them to be against the pass last year. So I mean, yeah,
Weren't
I don't
the
know.
Vikings, Sean, ranked last in the NFL? Their
They
secondary.
they allowed a shit ton of pass yards. I know that.
And
for sure.
listen,
They
I'll
were
say
one
this,
of the
guys.
worst pass defensive teams in the NFL.
I loved the player. What's his name? Kareem Jackson. I love the player that the Vikings drafted in the 4th round, who unfortunately passed away before he could play a game in the NFL.
Dante brings that up here.
Yeah, that really hurt them. And he was a monster of a play. He was going to be a really quality. I think it was Kareem Jackson. He was going to be a really quality football player. We actually did a show, guys, where we said who was our best pick in the NFC North that wasn't a Chicago Bears player during that draft. He was my favorite pick in that draft. That wasn't a Chicago Bears player. And then shortly after that show, it was announced that he had passed away in a car accident. So yeah, I mean, it just hasn't gotten better for the Vikings. They haven't caught a break.
You're taking the Packers 3.
I don't know anything about Valentine, which I assume is the kid that's going to take the
real quick,
role.
I feel like we're being homers a little bit. I just got to say, is there a Bears player in the secondary that you would take over Brian Branch?
Jalen Johnson.
Jalen Johnson, you would take. I don't know that I would. Is there a Bears player?
Brian Branch is never healthy, man.
Brian
has
Branch
to
is
play an impact.
Fucking hell of a player. What do you mean never?
When he
healthy?
plays 8 games in a year,
he doesn't play 8
I
games
like Brian
a year.
Branch. I think Brian Branch is good, but
look up his games. Brian Branch played since he's been drafted.
A lot. I think you're thinking of someone else. I don't know that he has injury issues that you can point out that are different than any other player. So you guys would take Jalen Johnson over Brian Branch. What about Kirby Joseph?
Here's the deal.
I would not take Jalen Johnson over Brian Branch if I was making a team and I had a pick
for a
between the two of
safety.
them.
He's got a good pass rush grade.
Jalen Johnson is a better player than anybody in the NFC North at the position, man. I'm sorry, there's no way.
At quarterback for sure, but Brian Branch is a safety, so I just want the Bears' safeties are a concern, right?
If you're asking if he's the best safety, he's probably. I don't know if he's better than
it's him or McKinney. It's him or McKinney, right? I would take Branch over McKinney personally.
Sure.
I think Branch is the best safety
over McKinney.
Yeah, I would.
I would take Branch over McKinney. I think McKinney is better at coverage.
Ball hawk, more of a ball hawk for sure. Brian Branch does everything really well. He's like kind of a jack of all trades.
He is. He's kind of a hybrid safety.
Linebacker,
safety linebacker.
Safety,
I was just going to say safety linebacker. He took the words out of him.
I
like Brian Branch. I think he's phenomenal.
I love him.
It would be more beneficial if Brian Branch could start to take the ball away a little more. I mean, he's not a ball hawk.
That's what we're just saying. Yeah, that's what we're just saying. But I mean, that doesn't mean that he's not a leader on that team.
No, he's a phenomenal football player. I really liked him when they drafted him, and he ended up being who they want him to be. He has had injury issues, guys. I mean, he missed 2 games last year, but not only does he miss games, there was a Bears game where he came off the field like 5 times, literally 5 times during the game. The guy has trouble
missing 2 games in the NFL.
He plays really aggressively. He plays
not an injury issue.
It's like a Jaquan Brisker. He plays with aggression. He throws himself into people, but so guys, that's not. It's amazing.
My point
Jalen Johnson is a better player than Brian.
Okay, so if you're comparing the safeties for the Bears to I just think we got to give the Lions a little more consideration for number 1 in this division.
No, I said when we started this, the Lions or the Bears are not far and away from the team that I believe is behind them. Which is, listen, we had a conversation when the draft was made, Dustin. We argued about it. We split hairs on this. I thought Kirby Joseph was the shit when the Bears draft or when the Lions drafted him, and he still is today. And he just got one of the biggest contracts in football.
That's my point.
And the guy murdered Aaron Rodgers throughout his whole career. And I loved him in Illinois. I love the fucking kid in Illinois.
They just signed DJ Reed, who was one of the best signings of this free agency. That guy is a hell of a cornerback, and he's going to be their nickel now, which they did not have one last year that was worth a damn. Terrion Arnold in his 2nd year. I'm just saying, like, this Lions secondary could be considered better than this Bears secondary.
So the Vikings gave up 242 passing yards from their secondary last year. The Lions 244. Lions gave up 18 touchdowns. The Vikings gave up 24. The Bears allowed 217.9. They gave up 17 passing touchdowns. The Packers allowed 215 yards and gave up 23 touchdowns.
The Packers are a lot higher on this list than we want to give them credit for too.
They just lost their best player in the unit.
I don't know. Jair Alexander Xavier McKinney was the best player in that unit, and he's still there.
And two for Brian Branch.
Jair Alexander was not
Brian
the best
Branch
player in that unit.
equaled out to the 17th best safety.
Okay, so what do we know about Valentine, the player who's going to replace him?
Not a lot.
What's his name? What's his first name?
I know his name.
I mean, unfortunately, the Packers didn't.
Valentine.
Unfortunately, the Packers didn't address the possible loss of this player during.
Jair Alexander only played 7 games last year, and they were still the best statistical secondary.
Carrington Valentine last year had 18 tackles.
Yeah, I don't know how much he played last year, but obviously they were playing without Jair Alexander for more of the season than they were playing with him. Detroit certainly has the best safety tandem in the NFC North. I agree with you, Oliver. I'm just trying to be a devil's advocate here. I don't want to just be like, oh, the Bears.
I'll agree with that. I'll agree with that. Detroit is the best safety duo. I would say that Terry and Arnold has a lot to prove for me to put them anywhere near the ranks at corner. I don't even know if Detroit's second in the ranks in corner.
Okay, but who's the Bears' second cornerback right now? Tyreek Stevenson, who's been much maligned and who you've maligned an awful lot. If he gets picked on like he did last year, is this Bears secondary as good as these other guys?
Yeah, but if we're gonna say Aiden Hutchinson made that big of a difference, we're gonna say that Jalen Johnson does, because he's the best player by far at this position in the NFC North.
What does that have to? So you're saying? So you're now making the point that Jalen Johnson takes away all that attention and Tyreek gets picked on because of it?
No, I'm saying Jalen Johnson makes the Bears unit better than anyone else's.
Oh, so
because he's a corner that allows like a 25%. Quarterbacks don't throw the ball.
Good.
Yeah, there's nobody in the NFC North that a quarterback's afraid to throw
about. But again, we gotta include the safeties in this conversation. So we're talking about Jaquan Brisker coming back from a concussion that never died last year.
Who I think is going to be one of the better safeties in the NFL if he stays healthy.
So we're banking on Brisker's health and an improvement year, a bounce back year, and we're banking on Kyler Gordon taking a step forward after getting his contract.
And we're talking about depth too.
Adding Zay Frazier, you got Terrell Smith, Elijah Hicks, Blackwell. Yeah,
Blackwell was pretty important to the Bears for sure.
What up, Ant Miss? Thanks for joining us, brother.
The Lions, like I said, guys, I don't think the Bears are I don't think they're far. I think the Lions and Bears are pretty damn close. I do.
I
think Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph, and Terry Arnold really needs to prove that he's a good player.
The guy's name.
Sean, what are you saying, bud?
I think everybody is forgetting about Kevin Byard, dude. Like, he's just trash. That guy was.
He was an All-Pro player in his career. He was an All-Pro.
Yeah, I like Kevin Byard.
He was 6th in pass rush, 8th in run defense. His coverage skills were a little bit down, but overall he was almost 73, and he ranked 30th at the safety position. I mean.
This is a little tougher than I expected, but I'm comfortable with the Bears at 1. I think it's one of the bigger strengths of this team.
This is a 1A, 1B thing, man. I mean, the Lions are right there. The Lions, if Terry Arnold had played any better than he did, the Lions probably would have been number 1. But that kid struggled, man. He struggled. He struggled pretty damn good.
He struggled in man coverage in college, and that was the biggest knock on him coming out of that draft.
DJ Moore caught like a 50-yard touchdown over the top of that kid.
That definitely proved itself to be true in the NFL. But he started to come along towards the end of that season and start to make some plays. I expect Terry Arnold to continue to pick it up. But Bears 1, Lions 2. We got the Packers 3 then, and the Vikings 4, right? Is that where we're following with this?
Yeah, I can't give the Packers any bit of or the Vikings any bit of improvement. I'm gonna have to put them 4th again, man. I mean, they were egregious at this position.
Sean, are you in agreement with that?
Say it one more time.
Bears 1 when we're talking about the DBs, Lions 2, Packers 3, and the Vikings 4.
That's what I have.
So then we're all aligned there. I mean, it's a close conversation, I think, between and I think the Packers are a lot closer than that 1-2 than we talked about as well. I mean, you read off those stats, Sean, for them to perform that way last year, and Jair Alexander was not really a big part of that secondary last year as well because he was not healthy for most of the season. So they held up really well against the pass last year.
Oliver Carter suggesting that Kyler Gordon plays safety along with Jaquan Brisker.
Yeah, I mean, You remember I suggested Kyler Gordon moving to safety when he first year he came into the league.
But to replace Byard,
he can do. Yeah, I
think
don't
you
know
would only
Byard.
do it. I think you would only do it
situation.
if there's an injury. Yeah.
I don't think there's anything Kyler Gordon can't do in the second.
I think between Byron Murphy and Kyler Gordon, you've got two of the best nickel corners in the fucking NFL in this division, which is.
Do you guys want to do special teams or do you want to leave that one blank?
I didn't even look at special teams.
All right, well, real quick.
I'll give it to the Bears because we have Torrey Taylor and nobody else.
Well, we have Torrey Taylor. We're not bringing it down by punt. Packers. Brandon,
the kicker for the Lions holds the best kicking average in NFL.
He's a stud. A stud. Brandon McManus as the kicker for the Packers. Daniel Whelan as their punter. Jaden Reed as their punt returner. Keyshawn Nixon as their kick returner. Matt
Nixon's a hell of a kick returner. Nixon's a stud.
Will Reichert as the kicker for the Vikings. Ryan Wright as the punter. Jalen Naylor's their punt returner. Ty Chandler is their kick returner. Andrew DePaula is their long snapper. We're really digging in deep here. Jake Bates, as you just mentioned, Sean had a damn good year. Jack Fox, punter. Khalif Raymond is their punt returner. Khalil Dorsey as their kick returner. And Hogan Hatton.
I'm giving the Packers that nod for sure.
Yeah,
just because we got the Bears, because of their two returners. Yeah. The Packers two returners between Jaden Reed and Nixon. Those guys are studs, man.
The Bears adding Devin Duvernay was a huge deal. We talked about this when they made that sign-in, Brandon. They needed a real kick returner, and they got it in Devin Duvernay, I believe. Torrey Taylor as their punter, Cairo Santos as their kicker, Scott Daly as their long snapper. They got Devin Duvernay listed as the punt returner and the kick returner, so he was signed specifically for that. How are we feeling about the special teams, guys, with the Bears having the main issue being Cairo Santos to me in terms of his inability to kick a deep ball, a long ball? And
Santos worries me, but I think the Bears have a really quality special teams coordinator, which is not something you hear a lot about for any NFL team besides Dave Taub for his tenure. But yeah, I think Richard Hightower is a top 3 special teams coordinator in the NFL
for sure. So, I mean, do we want to rank this one, guys? You got the Packers at number 1, Brandon?
Yeah.
Sean,
and
what
with
do you
the
got?
addition of Devin Duvernay, Dustin, I'm going to put the Bears at 2.
Sure.
Cairo Santos makes it hard to put him there.
Yeah, God, what a shit situation that's going to be.
Who'd you put at number 1?
Packers with but Brandon McManus. I mean, he came in and he was added in the middle of the season for the Packers because they couldn't find anybody that could kick the ball and actually make a field goal when they needed it. McManus held it down. He was very accurate the rest of that season when they brought him in.
And Jaden Reed is a special player, man. And then, like I said, Nixon, their DB, who does their kick returns, has had a really, really good career in doing so.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, man, I think I'd have the Lions at number 1 because of Bates. I mean, Sean, Packers or Lions number 1?
Lions.
Or you got the Bears number 1? What do you got? Lions?
I'll go Lions.
Okay, we're going Lions number 1 with that.
For what?
Packers number 2 then, Sean, or we got for special teams?
Yeah, but you got the Lions. You have to attribute their return. Khalif Raymond is ass, bro. Why is that guy in the league? He's like honestly, my size.
Crooked Commish, what's up? Thanks for joining us. Everybody in the chat's been killing it. Glad you guys are participating in this. Hopefully you're enjoying it. Please hit that like button if you have not already. Make sure you're subscribed if you are not already.
Yeah, thank you everybody in the chat. You guys have been awesome, man. This is cool that everybody's throwing out their ranking. Your guys' rankings have been pretty in line. I'd say that.
Yeah, we've been pretty spot on.
No, I mean with each other as well. A lot of these guys have a pretty high football IQ. It's pretty apparent.
I think we're going Vikings number 4, Bears number 3, Packers 2, or are we going Bears 2, Packers 3?
I gotta go Packers 2, man. I think, like you said, McManus held it down, and their returners are the best.
I think the Bears adding that kick returner and Devin Duvernay is a huge deal. Sean, we got Lions 1, Packers 2, Bears 3, Vikings 4 on our special teams rankings.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, you don't give a shit. I really. It's part of the game, though. We gotta include it. I'm gonna tally
the game most of the time. So
I mean, Dante said he tallied these up already. I don't believe him. If you did, throw them out there. But I'm gonna tally these up real quick. You guys just kind of bullshit.
I was gonna say I got the Vikings in the lead by 1 point over.
Oh, you already tallied it?
I'm doing it right now.
I thought we agreed I was doing this, Sean. I've been doing this for no fucking reason. You've been doing this the whole time.
Well, I just
What the fuck?
I didn't do it at all.
add them up to make sure we have the same numbers.
Sean, we can't trust your numbers, Sean. You've been watching the Cubs game.
13, 17.
I want to see what Dante is. We should have, as Dante, we appreciate. We should have assigned this to Dante. He took on this challenge. Dante's probably right. We have probably two wrong numbers here. All right. So after these, I would say that based on what I recall we've done, I would say that the Vikings might be number one.
I think the Vikings are number one.
No, they are not. I've already tallied it, and they are not number one, Sean. Let's
The
get the
Lions
tallies
are
out,
number-
and then let's get the tallies out, and then we'll announce it. Okay, let's see here. 3.
I'm not telling shit.
I wouldn't have if I knew I didn't need to, but obviously.
I mean, unless I'm missing.
What's up, Ant Mask?
I got the Vikings winning by 1 point.
No, you're wrong.
Hold on, I'm going back to add it.
It's addition.
Yeah, you're way wrong, Sean.
All right. Anyways, I think after this, guys, we are going to talk a little bit about where Caleb Williams ranks in the entire NFL. Correct?
Oh yeah,
That's
I did
gonna
it. I missed the special teams. I didn't add the special teams in. I did it before that.
Is the special teams really what made the difference?
Okay, I got it. I got it here, guys.
Yeah,
No,
I got-
it is tight. It is tight. It is tight.
As it should be.
Sean, here, let's start with our worst in this in terms of our tally. I got the Packers at their total score of 27. They have the highest score of all four.
I got them at 27 too.
Packers are the fourth. Now, fifth is third in our rankings now is the Vikings at 25. The Vikings.
I have
come in-
25. Did I miss the Bears here?
The Vikings came in at 25, which puts them
at
third in the division. Yep. The Bears came in at 24, which puts them second in the division by our rankings in terms of this. That close between the Bears and the Lions, and that was that conversation about those DBs back and forth, right? That 1-2 spot that right there. That was that one point.
I missed one for the Bears.
Okay, well, I'm here and I got it, Sean. So let's just. I got
Right,
the
so
Packers.
Bears second, Lions first. We have Lions, Bears.
The Lions came in at 22 points, 3 points better, 2 points better than the Bears. And yeah, the Bears are second on paper
by the way,
to us in this division after we break down all of the.
By the way,
units.
3 weeks ago, I did my NFC North rankings in regards to record. I had the Lions in first with 10 wins. I had the Packers and Bears tied with 9 wins. I had the Vikings last place with 8 wins. That's how close I had the division too. 10, 9, 9, 8 in regards to wins, and the Bears and Packers tied in second place. So our numbers that we came up with here are not very far off the projections I had record-wise in this division. It's going to be very close. It's going to be very close. What's going on, Kyle? We just had Kyle in the chat there for a sec.
I saw that.
Hope you feel better, Kyle.
What stands out on this, man? Because I didn't expect the Bears to be this high, honestly, and I wonder if we gave some bias to these rankings a little bit to make that happen. And you had the Packers. You had the Packers second. You said, and we got them fourth by a mile. Like they're a 5-point difference from the Lions at number one at 27, 2 points away from the next highest.
Yeah, and that's the 25, 20. But I mean, look at that.
27 for the
27, 25, 24. I mean, these are pretty. This is a tight race.
And if you had the Vikings at 4, man, we got the Vikings as competing for the potential to be the second best team.
But Dustin, we can say that the Vikings are third. Their units are the Vikings are last place in the category that matters most, and that's what's gonna hurt their season.
But they're first place and coach. So I mean, I think like as much as we want to say the Vikings are maybe in for a rough season, we like a lot of the parts of this team. And as a whole, when you're talking about playing under KOC, they have good leadership and they've been in the playoffs. Like this team is a solid.
Yeah, they
team.
have. I think we probably ranked their defense number one, and I think that Justin Jefferson is still Justin Jefferson, and that's always going to have an impact. I have the Vikings winning
number 1. Yeah.
I have the Vikings going 8-9 in the regular season, and I have the Bears and Packers tied at winning 9 games. I mean, look where I have these 3 teams. They're 1 win away from all 3 of these teams.
But we didn't. We did these all individually, not really concerning ourselves with that final number. So I was interested to see where these final numbers came out, because this should have been a non-biased approach to just what is the best at each position and how that mathed out.
And I think we leaned heavily on the Bears. I think we leaned heavily on the Bears having a good offense, but we still need to see it, guys. And I'm sorry.
Well, the Bears DBs.
Ben Johnson should have lost a point, as far as I'm concerned, because you can't call Ben Johnson better than fucking anybody who's been doing a really good job at it since they've started.
Well, that's the difference.
Crazy to me. But
that's the difference between them and the Vikings. It's a 1 point difference between the Bears and the Vikings.
And it should
24 and 25.
Because
it's a big difference.
Ben Johnson
and also
could come out
DBs.
and fall flat on his fucking face. I mean, we just don't. That's the coaching thing is, to me, you're not, because when you're looking at these player units, you can base this off what they've done in the past as well as what you think they're going to be projected. Ben Johnson as a head coach has no history, none whatsoever. He's not in the same role he was last year. Where
as I'll tell Melon Smasher right now, Brandon, I mean, he's bringing up the Vikings interceptions last year and the Packers interceptions last year and the Bears interceptions last year. We're not talking about last year. We're talking about this year. That was the point with Ben Johnson.
But we're using
that's the point with making the Bears DBs number one on this list. We're projecting.
But why did we put JJ McCarthy last?
Because we're projecting him out. I don't think he's
because
going to be a quarterback.
There's nothing to build. There's nothing to rely on. There's no.
You can use
body of work.
But as I made the point when we were talking about it, Brandon, you could, as a Vikings fan, you could take that and say JJ McCarthy is going to be really good because you don't have a body of work to lean on. You didn't see him get his ass kicked as a rookie like we saw Caleb Williams.
But it's not safe to say that JJ McCarthy could be better than guys who are doing well, right? If there was a quarterback in this division that was just ass his whole career, like if fucking Ryan Tannehill is the starting quarterback of the Viking or of the Lions, we could say
depends on who you are.
JJ McCarthy might be better than Ryan Tannehill.
Brandon, there's people that think Caleb Williams is ass.
Caleb Williams
people exist.
Those people just dislike Caleb Williams personally because Caleb Williams was the third highest passing yards in Bears history and broke the rookie record for passes without an interception. So that's just based on nothing.
Passing yards in Bears history is not a high marker, Brandon.
And what about attempts? What about attempts without an interception in the history of the NFL as a rookie?
Well, that matters.
That's why I said. That's why I brought that up, because that matters in regards to everything, not just Bears statistics. That's the best anybody ever did in the entire NFL in its existence. That's why that statistic mattered so much.
I just thought it was interesting the way the rankings played out here with, the Lions, Bears, Vikings, Packers.
Yeah, I think
we rated them
we thought the Bears would be dead last, but the reality is, man, if you're looking and guys, here's the thing too.
Sean, what are your thoughts on this?
But Dustin, I don't think that the numbers can equate to who's going to be a better team, because we're going to say the total numbers at the end.
It's complete speculation.
Because let's say that the Bears tight ends are the best. Let's say statistically they're the best. That doesn't make them any better than any other football team in the NFC North. Let's say the Bears wide receivers and tight ends finish statistically better than all the other units in the NFC North. They could still have the worst fucking record. So the numbers at the end, the totals don't reflect anything.
Well, except that all of these things together make a team, and the success of an individual does help that of a team. But Sean, what are your thoughts, Sean? Sean hasn't said shit.
For me, with the head coach slot, the reason I put him up ahead of Matt LaFleur is basically the entire.
Well, no, you said that, but Sean, what do you think of the number totals? Do you think that's a reflection of how this division might finish?
I do, because when we picked them out, Brandon, when we did it on the bare minimum,
you did.
I picked the
this is how you did it.
Last.
Okay, Sean, this is how you. What did you pick? What did you have? This is exactly.
Yep.
I had the
Lions, Bears,
Vikings, Packers.
This is how he picked it. Yeah. You did do that on the show.
So then the way we broke this down,
work out.
Yeah, it kind of bears out exactly as you saw.
Now here,
and listen, we had it Lions.
I'll say this: if Sam Howell under KOC could somehow get that Sam Darnold magic, then the Bears and the rest of this division may be fucked. Because
for sure, that possibility exists.
And I had a jumble of a division when I predicted their records. They were all 2 games away from one another, with the Lions being the leader, and that's the way the Lions being the only team with double-digit wins. I mean, that's kind of how the rest of these guys are kind of a clusterfuck, and that's kind of how this came out to be, man. But like I said, if the Bears have 3 or 4 units on their team that are better than everybody else in the division, it still doesn't mean that they're going to finish anywhere near the top of the division in record.
Go ahead,
Sean. And I'll say this for you guys, because I know you guys don't feel this way, but that interior line of the Detroit Lions, I understand that they can have 2 really good bookends, but if you collapse that line from the inside, the bookends don't have shit to do with it. Well, they have a lot to prove on the interior of that offensive line. We have them ranked as 3. It's very possible, because Tate Ratledge doesn't develop the way we think, or Graham Glasnow sucks like his numbers showed last year.
I'm not. Glasnow should not be. Line. No Lions fans.
Christian Mahogany is a very unproven guy. That was the thing. That was the thing that stood out to me the most. The 2 things that stood out to me the most on this list, man, was O-line that the Bears we ended up having ranked 2nd, right behind the Vikings, who look like a dominant offensive line on paper. And then we had the Bears at number 1 at tight end over the Lions, Packers, and Vikings. Those 2 things stood out to me the most, and I think that's where the Bears made up a lot of ground on this list, man.
I kind of mean it when I say I think the Vikings might clear in a way have the best offensive line. We had them ranked as 1.
I don't think it's close.
Honestly, I think they have one of the best offensive lines in the entire football league, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it looks really good, man. If those guys stay healthy, they got some dominant players on that offensive line.
And if you're looking at this from a broad perspective, with JJ McCarthy, even if you project JJ McCarthy to be a good player, we projected Caleb Williams to be a good player, and look where the Bears were last year under Caleb Williams, rookie. Like, the Vikings make sense to be last place, because regardless of whether or not JJ McCarthy ends up being a good football player, a rookie doesn't often take you to the playoffs. Jaden Daniels did it last year. CJ Stroud did it the year before. But guys, it is still known as a fucking conundrum. It's not often that a rookie quarterback leads a team to success. And I just can't say. I can't bring myself. I just said that CJ Stroud and Jaden Daniels did this, but it's been.
That's not what I was going to say. You also saw CJ Stroud kind of regress last year. So that in his 2nd year, right? So like that's a part. Caleb Williams is going into his 2nd season. Yeah. We see quarterbacks go up and down from season to season. I think adding Ben Johnson to Caleb Williams' equation makes things a lot better for Caleb Williams, man.
Yeah, Ben Johnson's proven to make quarterbacks progress. We can say he has a history in that. Not as a head coach, but as a guy who gets the best out of a quarterback, he's done a pretty damn good job at that. JJ McCarthy, though, the odds are stacked against the Vikings being a good and quality playoff football team with a rookie quarterback at the helm. Sam Darnold might have been a journeyman, but he was a fucking guy he's played in the NFL for a long time, and he was like the 3rd overall pick in the draft. But forget about that. He knew
and he came off a year with Kyle Shanahan too.
Yeah, he knew the
system.
Came
off a year with Shanahan as well.
He knew the system.
I'll say this, guys. Don't sell Sam Howell short.
Yeah, Stroud did.
21 touchdowns, 21 interceptions. How many times was Caleb Williams sacked last year?
68.
Oh, you know how many times he was sacked as a full-time starter? 65. And the guy produced almost 4,000 passing yards, 21 touchdowns, 21 picks. In Kevin O'Connell's offense with those weapons, all I'm saying
Sean, I agree with you. I wouldn't be shocked if JJ McCarthy starts on the bench
as the starter. Sam Howell is maybe not a Super Bowl winning quarterback, but I think he's very capable to lead this Vikings team.
If you're talking about that Commander season he had, man, he also – how many interceptions did he have that season?
He had 21 passing touchdowns, 21 interceptions. He was also sacked 65 times.
I understand. They kept having him throw the ball 100%. That was like their whole – that was Eric Bieniemy's offense, I believe. I think that was Eric Bieniemy's offense that year. Sam Howell throws the ball to the other team an awful lot. I don't believe in J.J. McCarthy, and I personally think Sam Howell gives them a better chance than J.J. McCarthy in this season, especially if you're Kevin O'Connell. But they want J.J. McCarthy to be that guy. And who am I to tell a Vikings fan he won't be that guy? Kevin O'Connell has gotten it out of all these guys. Exactly. And he was a high draft pick because Kevin O'Connell saw him working in his system. Which if we're going to make Kevin O'Connell, real quick, let me just say this, because Melon Smasher made this point earlier and we kind of glossed over it. If we're going to give Kevin O'Connell number 1 coach in the NFC North and he drafted J.J. McCarthy, then we got to give some kind of credit there, right? Sean, just a question.
Sure.
Do you think?
Sure.
I don't like J.J. McCarthy, but I
But
have a lot of
also think
respect for
you
KOC.
I also think you got to give your team the best chance to win. And coming
Yeah.
out of the gate, I think their best chance to win is Sam Howell, unless JJ McCarthy transforms into some amazing super stud. I don't personally see it, but
Again,
I could be wrong.
I could be wrong too. I could see how a Vikings fan would convince themselves that JJ McCarthy is the answer at quarterback. And because it is the unknown, as Brandon mentioned earlier, you did not see him play last year. So you have nothing to work off of. It's all potential. So like they're looking at that and they're saying, we got a chance to have a really good quarterback here. And we'll see how it plays out. This is a very good we went through the secondaries in the NFC North, and there are some good ones, and he's going to be playing all of them twice. So like he's going to have a rough rookie season, I think.
And we've already seen success from Caleb. We've seen success from Jaden Daniels. We've seen Bo Nix have a good year. I thought Michael Penix looked pretty good when he played. What are the odds, guys, that all of these fucking quarterbacks end up being?
It was a really good draft class, man.
Stud football players. It's the odds are stacked against JJ McCarthy.
I thought McCarthy was the worst of all of them in the pre-draft process.
Turn out to be the best quarterback class since '83. '83.
It might be better than that one.
It could. That had Kelly Elway and
I didn't even mention Drake May.
Marino.
I didn't even mention Drake May because he was just on an awful football team. But if Drake May's the guy he's supposed to be,
season,
I love. Drake.
You're talking about Sean. I think you're talking about the best quarterback class in NFL history.
So since we're talking about this is a great transition to the Caleb Williams thing, because like I just on we'll talk about the NFL, but on just out of these rookies, guys, the guys who you were just saying, Brandon, that performed last year, and this rookie class could be the best quarterback class that we've seen since '83. Who's going to have the best sophomore season out of those guys that we were just discussing? I think you take JJ McCarthy out of there because this is really his rookie season of those guys that played last year.
And Michael Penix. Let's exclude Michael Penix played like 3 football games.
I think you got to keep Michael Penix in there, boss.
That's not a rookie year for Michael Penix?
No,
because he played 2.5 games?
I think we got to keep Michael Penix in there.
He's last because he has the least experience.
Okay, so who's going to have the best sophomore season of all those guys?
Listen,
who do we think
with the addition of Ben Johnson and some protection, it would only make sense that Caleb Williams does, because I still think that Jaden Daniels is hurting for some weapons. I think that Washington team needs some skill players. I do. I don't think they addressed that enough in the offseason. Yeah, sure, Jaden Daniels was able to keep drives alive with his legs, but it wasn't on account of having good players surrounding him. Jaden Daniels was the man. He did it himself. Jaden Daniels probably can't sustain that in a sophomore season. There's a lot of film on Jaden Daniels now, guys, and we know that he threw the least amount of passes to the left side of the field in the NFL. That's going to be a problem if it's not fixed. Caleb Williams with Ben Johnson and the addition of Luther Burden and
that offensive line,
who were just fucking luxuries to have on top of Rome Odunze, DJ Moore, and Cole Kmet. I mean, I don't see how Caleb doesn't. And Dustin, you pointed out our last show, the progress that Jared Goff had from his first year as the quarterback on the Detroit Lions to the second season with Ben Johnson calling plays was astronomical.
100%.
I mean, I didn't even, when you read that to me, man, I'm going to be honest.
I'll read it right now.
Blew my mind.
2021, Jared Goff, 3,245 yards, 19 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. 2022, Ben Johnson takes over. Goff, 4,438 yards, 29 touchdowns, 7 interceptions.
More than 1,000 yards more. Over 1,000 yards more.
And brought down a low interception number. I mean, everything got better for Jared Goff when Ben Johnson took over. Sean,
in the hopes that that's the impact Ben Johnson could have on Caleb Williams, who I think is a better player than Jared Goff when it comes to the talent, the raw talent that he has, I just don't see how Caleb doesn't project, at least, to be a better player than the rest of these guys. And to be honest with you, Dustin, Bo Nix might be second on my list.
Okay, let's hear who's first on Sean's list. Let's hear who's first on. Is the sophomore season from these rookie quarterbacks we're talking about, Sean? Who do you think is going to have the best season this year?
Boy, I'm going to throw a coin in the air and toss it up between Bo Nix, and I'm going to go with Caleb Williams. But Drake May, I don't think
Drake May is in there. Drake May is in there, isn't he? Yeah.
Drake May is right there.
The team needs some talent, man.
I love I think people are selling short Demario Douglas, Stephon Diggs, and Kyle Williams, and I think people forgot about Javon Baker and Jalen Polk. You act like there's no receivers there. There's a lot of receivers there. I can
Is
go on
Stephon Diggs
record.
going to be there, or is he going to be on a boat with some pink powder
And you know what? Hey, I'll
I
tell you
think
this
Travion
right
Henderson
now.
was the best addition to that football team. I don't know.
I'll tell you this right now. Here's a little fantasy nugget for you. Kyle Williams is one of 2 rookie wide receivers, I believe, that
I
have 1,000
love
yard seasons this
Kyle
year.
Williams. I love
So,
Kyle Williams.
don't
I'm not high on Diggs. I'm not high on Diggs. Diggs is high on something, but I am not high on Diggs.
I'm sorry.
I'm really high on Kyle Williams.
I have to place Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams ahead of Drake May.
Here. I'm gonna tell you a little something about Mr. Jaden Daniels. I think the kid's gonna regress. Number one, we'll see what happens.
Well, it
with
makes
Terry
sense. He had a
McLaurin.
phenomenal rookie year. It would
Well,
make sense.
He didn't even pass for 4,000 yards. He rushed. He made it happen with his legs.
Yeah, but he
So
carried
had
a football
good-
team
he
on
had
his
a
back,
good-
Sean.
He had a good rookie year. You know who had a great rookie year? CJ Stroud. When you talk about a passing quarterback.
Jaden Daniels had the best rookie year of any quarterback I've seen in my life.
Because he ran with his legs?
and he
Because he
completed.
ran with his legs?
What was
If
his completion
4,000
percentage,
yards
Sean?
is the standard.
Sean,
If
what was his
4,000
completion
yards is the
percentage?
standard. He didn't throw for 4,000 yards.
Actually, yeah, I'm gonna go
One side of
Caleb
the field.
Jaden Daniels. Dustin, did you
Number
even say who
2.
yours is?
Number 2.
I haven't had a chance to talk yet, no, but it's cool. Sean can
Number
keep going.
2. If you go and look at the back half of that schedule for Washington, it was full of weak teams. He didn't have a lot of competition to play. Teams he was able to beat, thump
fucked
up
the
on
Lions up, though.
Carolina, the Saints. Yeah, Lions defense when he played them had what 19 players
here.
on IL. I mean, and you don't outside of Terry McLaurin, you have a beat up Debo Samuel. You lost any other receiver you have.
Yeah, I'm not. This Debo
You have
Samuel
Zach
thing is not
Ertz.
appealing.
Who does Jaden Daniels have? Nothing. So you're relying on his legs. If Terry McLaurin
Can I
gets
make
hurt,
okay?
he has nothing.
Let me respond to this Jaden Daniels thing. Or if Terry McLaurin holds out and doesn't want to play because he's not getting paid, which is also a story in Washington right now, Sean. So like that's a part of it as well. They need to make sure he's on the team. But you're talking about the teams he played down the stretch in the postseason. Let's just say postseason in those games. 66% completion, 822 yards, 7.2 average on attempts, and 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. In the regular season, he threw for 3,600 yards, 25 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, completed 69% of his passes, Sean. Jaden Daniels is not a flash in the pan. You don't complete 70% of your passes in the NFL and you're just mediocre. You're just okay. This guy is a fucking stud.
Did I say flash in the pan?
I mean, you're talking about him like he's just going to regress. Like that's just a given.
My projection of regression.
The stats are so good. His rookie season regression might be a probability, to be honest, for Jaden Daniels.
That's what I was saying. But also everything that Cliff Kingsbury touches eventually dies, and that's where my regression is on Jaden Daniels. Cliff Kingsbury cannot seem to sustain anything in his career.
Go off his playoff numbers. Guess what? I just looked it up. He played 2 defenses that were not even in the top 20 in the Buccaneers and the Lions. The Lions
were in the playoffs, bro.
19 players. Yeah, and again,
they were in the playoffs. He went to the NFC Championship. Sean, come on.
Come on. The end of his schedule into account when he played, let's see, backup Carson Wentz, was it in New England, or who was?
I want to point out that Razzle is backing up what Brandon was saying about 80% of the time to one side of the field for Jaden Daniels.
Yeah,
that's an egregiously exposing number.
And
if a defense can pick up on it and make them adjust, then that could be an issue for him.
Yeah. And guys, Cliff Kingsbury has a track record.
You can't discredit what he did in the playoffs, man. Those are
hold on.
numbers.
We can't just look over Mike's. Cliff Kingsbury has a track record more so than anybody else in sports history
of his offense
of never sustaining success. The guy cannot do it. I don't know what the hell it is. I have nothing against him. I actually like Cliff Kingsbury. He cannot manage to keep whatever it is that he uses to succeed in place. It always falls apart. I don't know what the hell it is. He gets figured out. I don't know if he just puts his cards on the table and everybody knows what the hell it is this guy's going to do. He cannot continue to do well at anything. I don't know what it is.
again, because of Jaden Daniels' awesome rookie season, regression might be in the cards for him just because of that. But Jaden Daniels will be the second best quarterback this year out of that group. Number one is going to be switched it to Jaden Daniels instead of Bo Nix. Number one is Caleb Williams, given everything that the Bears have done. We've already discussed that. Caleb Williams will be the best quarterback this season out of this rookie class, in my mind. And then number 3, man, and this is a guy I did not like in the draft, but Drake May. Drake May is going to have a good
I like
season.
Bo Nix at 3.
Again,
that Denver team's got a really good season ahead of them. Sean, go ahead, sir.
No, go ahead.
That's all I was going to say. That Denver team's got a good season ahead of them.
No, and again, I was just saying when you look at rookie, when you say the greatest rookie year of all time, C.J. Stroud, 4,100 yards, 23 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 100 passer rating, 3 rushing touchdowns. That's only 3 less than one Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels had more rushing yards.
C.J. Stroud was phenomenal.
Less passing touchdowns and a worse quarterback rating than C.J. Stroud his rookie fucking year. Don't fucking tell me that Jaden Daniels had a better year than C.J. Stroud.
He did 100%. It's not even close.
He also won Rookie of the Year.
Not just talk about stats.
Playoff game.
Let's not just talk about stats.
He was supposed to as a fucking rookie.
Sean, did he take his team to the AFC Championship? Did he take his team to the AFC Championship? Did he beat teams he was not supposed to beat in the playoffs consistently to get to the championship of his conference? No, he did not. Jaden Daniels made plays, brought his team back much more than C.J. Stroud did in his rookie season. Jaden Daniels stepped up in crunch time every time, and teams could not stop him. C.J. Stroud did not have that impact on the game.
Wins.
Period.
Hit that like and subscribe, guys.
Period. Round of the playoffs.
Not even fucking close, bro.
Well,
were you watching? Were you watching?
Way, of course.
Well, this is opinionated, guys.
He's getting offended.
This is opinionated, fellas.
It doesn't fucking matter. He had 3 more
rushing
touchdowns for a rushing quarterback.
You want to focus on the stats. Talk about what he did in these games, bringing his team back, winning games, putting his team on his back. CJ Stroud did not do that, Sean.
Well, if we want to,
Smasher just agreed with you. Now I know I'm right.
If we want to talk about stats, though, hold on. If we want to talk about stats,
insult people in the chat.
If we want to talk about stats. Bo Nix had 3,800 yards, 29 touchdowns. Bo Nix had 3,800 yards and 29 touchdowns. That is also one of the best rookies. Guys, listen, hold on. This is something I want to talk about.
How many rushing yards did he have?
I just have his passing stats pull up. But this is going to be something that I think we're going to start to see more and more of. And Sean, he had 430 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns. How many
rushing touchdowns?
4. Bo Nix had a really good fucking rookie year, and Sean Payton did.
Bo Nix was awesome.
Sean Payton did exactly what I thought he would do. But I want to say this. I think this is
not just hold on real quick. It's not just about the stats, Sean. It's about the impact on the game and winning.
And Sean, you did just say, Sean, that Jaden Daniels had very little around him. Jaden Daniels had very little around him. I think he had less than C.J. Stroud did. But I was. This is something, guys. I think you're going to
have a rookie tank down wide receiver.
Nico Collins.
Nico Collins. No one even knew who the fuck Nico Collins was until he busted out with C.J.
They do now, but
out of here.
But I do think you're going to start to see this as a trend. I think that quarterbacks are going to find a lot more success early in their careers, and I think the quarterbacks are going to, with the NIL deals, I think they're going to stick around in college and play a little longer. You're going to see the average age of a quarterback being drafted come up a little bit, and I think you're going to see success early on because, guys. With this 4 years of a rookie deal,
thanks for joining us.
This 4 years of a rookie deal, and then you got to pay a guy $200 million. The pressure is on these guys now, and you're gonna, and especially guys that are going to systems like Sean Payton's. And Cliff Kingsbury has a way of getting the best out of somebody for 1 year. I don't know what it is beyond that. It falls apart.
There's not a lot of guys that get to go to Sean Payton's system, Brandon. Bo Nix got very lucky. That was a perfect marriage.
It'll happen though. Like if the Niners move on from Brock Purdy falls apart and they have to make a decision.
They just gave him an extension. Don't talk about that, right? They just
it's going to bother you to hear it, but that extension is not going to. They're not going to feel good about that later. But I do think that you're going to start to see success.
Not many teams do.
But, Drake May looked pretty good, like we said. Michael Penix to me looked like he's going to be a quality quarterback. Matter of fact, for a lefty man, Michael Penix might make some fucking noise.
Penix can sling it.
And he's got a much better football team around him this year. You're going to probably hear Michael Penix's name a lot coming up in this next season. But
so we got Caleb Williams as number 1 across the board, right? In terms of
I have Jaden Daniels second.
So, Jaden Daniels second for me and you, and Sean had Bo Nix as second.
Yeah. Sean had Bo Nix second. I think Bo Nix is third. I still think that Patriots team, man, is just missing a lot. I do. I like their offensive line has a lot of work to do. And I do think, guys, I think the Broncos could win the AFC West. I think this Broncos team's about to be a really, really good fucking
That's a
football
fucking tough division.
I know. You've got the Chiefs in there. I know
And
what
the
I'm saying. I've
Chargers.
thought about this. I've thought
And
about
an
this.
improved Raiders team, a very
I wouldn't
improved
say
Raiders
something so
team.
bold if I hadn't put some, but I think that and Sean, I agree with you. I think RJ Harvey's a stud of a player. I think the rushing attack on the Denver Broncos is about to improve drastically. I think this Broncos team's about to make some. And guys, Pat Surtain and Jahdae Barron is fucking disgusting.
And honestly, what's the white dude's name? Because they already had a really good cornerback duo with that dude.
Yeah,
what the hell
yeah, they did.
Name?
Yeah, their defense was just solid all around last year. Their safeties are good too, man. After letting Simmons just walk and getting probably an improvement there, like this football team is ready to make some noise. This is their moment, man. If they want Bo Nix to prove who he is before his rookie deal is up, they've set him up to do so for sure. And Sean Payton, guys, is I don't care what anyone says. I know it's been a while, man, since he won that Super Bowl in New Orleans, but this is one of the best coaches in the NFL as far as I'm concerned. So, yeah, Sean, Dustin, I think that Bo Nix is third.
Sean, who's that cornerback? The white guy. What the hell's his name?
For who?
Riley Moss, the Broncos. Riley Moss. He's a damn good cornerback too, man. And you add Jahdae Barron to that. Jesus Christ.
Sean, do you put Jaden Daniels third and sophomore season? You got Bo Nix second, right?
I might be Drake Maylene. I don't know.
That offensive line is rough, man. Remember that.
There's a lot that goes against.
That Patriots offensive line. I know they added a good player
but they're still not very good.
That's rough.
Yeah, that's still a big problem for them. That is still a big problem for them. I mean, in considering that, I mean, Bo Nix, Drake May are going to be like right there for me, and I think Bo Nix is in a much better situation offensively. Yes, obviously. I mean,
they've done right by Bo Nix, man.
The offensive coordinator for the Patriots is the guy, Josh McDaniels, right? So I mean, like, I don't like that very much.
And the Broncos just added Pat Bryant, and I know I'm being an Illinois homer here, but Pat Bryant's going to make some noise in the NFL too, man. The Denver Broncos, between Cortland Sutton, Marvin Mims, Pat Bryant, they've got to really, and that kid who was playing well at the end of last year, Valey, I don't know, whatever the fucking kid's name.
Yeah.
They've got some potential there on that offense to make some noise and be really special. Erica says Caleb.
Nix, she's got Caleb, Nix, Jaden, and May. And that's I got Caleb, Jaden, and I think it's either Nix or May. I'll go Nix third. The more I think about it, man, and May right there. But I think May is going to have a hell of a fantasy football season, just in terms of his running.
I think Michael Penix is in line for a pretty damn good fantasy football year too, man. That's a guy people should be drafting as their second QB because he might end up playing your first QB.
Yeah, this for sure, man.
Athlete, man.
Jaden going to NFC Championship, you got to put him one until he proves otherwise. That's a solid take to have, honestly, because the proof is in the pudding.
You're not going to get a disagreement.
The proof is in the pudding. Yeah, I mean, I just expect Caleb to have so much progression versus there's going to be some regression for Jaden Daniels in that offense for multiple reasons, as Sean pointed out with Terry McLaurin.
And you don't want Jaden running as much as
Kingsbury's offense, Brandon. Yeah, and the injuries, the potential for injury there. Caleb Williams is going to be protected better this year. He's going to have the plays drawn up for him better. He's got better weapons to go to. I mean, there's a lot of positives on Caleb's side, given that you added Ben Johnson, improved that offensive line, and added more weapons, man. So I don't think it's a stretch to say Caleb is in line for a better season than Jaden Daniels. I don't think Sean thought so either when he put Caleb.
And I don't think it's a stretch to say that Caleb Williams could throw for 4,000 yards and 28 touchdowns. There's no stretch there. I mean, there's a lot of mouths to feed, and Caleb's got to be the only guy who's giving it to him, man. So I mean, this guy is in line for a pretty special season if all things work out. If Ben Johnson's the head coach that we want him to be.
Sean, could Caleb be a top 10 quarterback in the league this year in the NFL overall? Mike Ross has Penix fourth. Nice.
I like
If I
Michael
start,
Penix,
if I
Mike.
start looking over, if I started saying a league of their own, Mahomes,
I like that take, Mike.
Allen, Jackson, Burrow, Herbert, Hurts.
Do you put
Yeah,
Kyler Murray? Do you put Kyler
Baker,
Murray over him? Do you
you're a
put
big
Dak
Mayfield
Prescott?
guy, Sean.
Baker
I
Mayfield?
think I put Baker Mayfield and Jared Goff both ahead, and Matthew Stafford.
I put him ahead of Goff.
We just ranked
John
him
Morton.
ahead of Goff in the NFC North, so we can't now put Goff ahead of him in the NFL.
And the offensive coordinator there, man. No, thank you.
Hold on. I'm just looking at my list of quarterbacks on my fantasy list.
Let's hear it.
I have Dak Prescott ahead of Caleb Williams. I have Caleb Williams 8th.
Eighth is what you have. I have him
I have him top
seventh.
10.
I have him at 7th. Yeah, I think there's a high probability that could happen. Now, we also could see him finish 15th to 20th in terms of fantasy quarterbacks this year, and that not be surprising because he is learning a new offense and there is a whole lot going on. And the Bears, we're trying to give them their flowers before they've earned them.
I have him at 10.
You got him at 10. So you do have him as a top 10 quarterback in the league this year.
Him at 10.
Can he be a top 10 quarterback in the league this year, guys? Because we all have him there. Can he be a top 10 quarterback in the league this year and the Bears not be a contending playoff team? Is that possible?
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay.
No, I think they'll be a contender. I don't know if they'll make it a la Joe Burrow last year. In the hunt, but just can't get over the hump type deal.
Okay, so like a 9-win team.
Yeah, 8,
with
9 wins.
With Caleb throwing the ball all over the field, basically.
Yeah.
I don't think Razzle Dazzle's very familiar
with
Chris
I'll say this, man, and so I guess I just got to put my foot in my mouth here a little. I got Jaden Daniels as the second best fantasy quarterback in football this year.
So do I.
So I mean, like, how do we have Caleb as the best from last year's rookie class this season?
He's not gonna, because rushing matters in fantasy a lot. That's why Lamar Jackson
throwing the football.
That's why Lamar Jackson is always number one. Maybe Josh Allen. Look at that. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Jaden, guys who run the football are fantasy impact. Players.
It makes a huge difference, and Caleb should be able to make that difference a little more this season too. If the offensive line is performing better, I think.
Caleb's not on my top 5 fantasy list. I mean,
guys, the biggest thing about Jaden Daniels to me, and I said it all last year, was like when it was 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 2 or 4th and 2 or 4th and 5, Jaden Daniels got the first down because the team had to account for his rushing and his highly accurate passing in a very quick hitting offense. That is something that is really unstoppable in the NFL. And if Caleb Williams can tap into that in any kind of way, and Ben Johnson can help him do that, then that will make a huge impact on this offense that could change things very quickly. When you get a team to 3rd and 2 and you don't get them off the field consistently, and Jaden Daniels broke teams' backs all last year in those situations, and that's why he was the best quarterback rookie out of that class to me, is he won games doing shit like that all season. Caleb needs to add a part of that to his game. I would like to see him do a little more with
I don't think we're ever going to see. Listen, I love Jaden Daniels, and Razzle Dazzle's going to probably crucify me for this. I don't think you're ever going to see Jaden Daniels throwing the statistics that Lamar Jackson does. I don't think you're ever going to see the 4,200 yards and 29
he was close
touchdowns
last year, wasn't he? He was close last year.
Passing
3,600 yards. He had 25 touchdowns. What did Lamar have? It was close. It wasn't
Lamar's broken 4,000 multiple times, hasn't he? Passing, maybe not.
I mean, last year 4,172. The year before that, though, 3,678. That was the year he won MVP. And the year before that, he was injured, obviously, at 22-42. So I mean, like
he was injured both years prior to that.
He's broken the 4,000 mark one time, and it was last year. So, but it's closer than you're giving it credit for. Is all I'm saying. Like in terms,
I thought Jaden Daniels only threw in the low 33,000s, 3,500 yards. But I still don't see.
Vizzo Joe says we're counting on Caleb taking a leap and Jaden regressing. But if we are wrong, then what does that mean for polls? It means that you were picking between 2 really good quarterbacks. I think a lot of people liked Jaden Daniels last year, Sean.
Vizzo Joe, I think before the magnifying glass
last year.
Yeah, you did. But I don't think you could go wrong with either one of those guys. Caleb had established himself as the number 1 prospect.
And I think Vizzo Joe,
as Brandon pointed out earlier, there's some weaknesses in his game. And if Jaden Daniels doesn't correct those coming into this season, Jaden Daniels isn't going to be long for the NFL. I don't give a fuck what he did in his rookie year. If you can only pass to
It
one side of the
matters.
field,
It matters.
no, it doesn't. Because if you
It
can
doesn't
only pass
matter
to one
at
side of the
all.
field and the defenses adjust to that, you're not going to be that good. You're
Well,
going to be
and
Justin
Sean,
Fields.
can Cliff Kingsbury adjust that? Because he's not known for
No.
doing that. And here's another thing, man.
Oh my
What
God.
Vizzo Joe said, what does it mean for Ryan Poles? I think the question is, what does it mean for Ben Johnson? If Caleb Williams doesn't progress, I don't know. Let's exclude Jaden Daniels from the conversation. If Caleb Williams doesn't progress into a much, much better football player with the things that have been added to this football team, Ryan Poles has done enough, man. I mean, come on. Ryan Poles
100%.
did.
This team
Ryan
is
Poles-
looking pretty solid on paper. We just went through it and we ranked them as the second best team in the NFC North on paper.
If Ben Johnson doesn't, if Caleb Williams doesn't improve, the magnifying glass, the spotlight's looking at one place and one place only, which will in turn, if Ben Johnson fails, then Ryan Poles is accountable.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'll sum it
he's
up
gone.
this way.
But if Caleb Williams, guys, if Caleb Williams fails, Ben Johnson will take responsibility for that. I'm not saying he will claim it. That's where it will go. 100%. Ben Johnson will be the guy that people chase after with the pitchforks and torches, guys. It's not going to be, we're not going to say Caleb Williams failed as a quarterback. Ryan Poles should be fired for it. That's crazy.
Well, no, I think you can a little bit. I don't think that's crazy at all. Sean, what were you going to say?
He's got a solid line, plenty of weapons, elite play caller. It's all on him. It's time
Yeah.
to deliver. It's Caleb Williams'
Yeah.
time. If he doesn't deliver in 17 weeks this year, I think we know possibly we have a bust. I don't think that's going to happen, but it's time to deliver, man. It's time to be who you are, the number 1 overall draft pick, and be that guy.
Generational.
Quarterback.
It's here, you know. It'll be the second Bears quarterback I've wasted my salary on buying football cards that is going to go up in smoke.
Well, Sean, that was what I was. Yeah, for sure, and that's what I was thinking when Brandon was saying that. I think the accountability goes to Caleb Williams. Ben Johnson will get a chance at another quarterback on this Bears team if Caleb Williams does not pan out. Caleb Williams needs to be that guy, and there needs to be accountability on Caleb Williams to step up because he does have this Bears team went out and said, "We love you, Caleb Williams. Here's everything you need, basically."
But
now you got to deliver, Caleb. You got to deliver.
If Caleb floats where he is, 3,500 yards to 20 touchdowns. If Caleb Williams regresses, Ben Johnson is going to have a real big fucking spotlight on him, dude.
Oh yeah,
there's just no doubt about it.
Any regression from that last regime is not going to be accepted.
You know what you're going to hear?
I think that's a very safe
he could do it with Jared Goff. Why can't he do it with Caleb Williams? And that's going to be the main question.
No, because he could do it as an offensive coordinator. Yeah. He can't fucking do it as a head coach. That's what's going to be said.
That's change from an offensive game plan. He's going to be calling the games. He's going to be making the in-game decisions.
And Sean, will that be too much for him? That's the question that we all ask. That's the question I've asked from the day they hired him. Will this be too much?
The elite coaching staff around him. Why he's
been very smart.
Oh, I don't doubt the situation they've put him in and he's put himself in because he hired these guys. I doubt always, Sean, and I always will, until I see the results. I doubt if a new head coach is able to wrap his head around being a head coach. Is it too much? And we'll find out quickly, guys.
Yeah, you got to see.
We'll find out.
But we cannot take the accountability away from Caleb Williams, man.
No, of course.
If you're looking at
regresses, if I know the Bears fans,
Ben Johnson, it needs to be on Caleb.
Based on Bears fans, they're going to crucify Caleb. Caleb Williams is going to be hung out to dry. That's what's going to happen if Caleb Williams has a bad season. It's going to be all on Caleb Williams. Nobody's going to say a word about Ben Johnson or Ryan Poles. That's just how the city reacts.
I don't think anything is decided this year, though, guys, on Caleb Williams, on Ben Johnson, or on Ryan Poles. If the Bears win 6 games this year and Caleb Williams does another 3,500 yards and 20 touchdowns and 10 interceptions, we're not saying Caleb Williams is a bust, and we're not saying Ben Johnson is not a good head coach. I don't think that this year decides those things. We need to look at this as a 2 to 3 year process in terms of how these guys progress.
I think you'll see with the eye test if you have a winner in Caleb Williams. I think that'll be.
And I think he's already as far as my eye test has gone so far.
I think he's already shown that. Yeah.
Well, I think he's already shown that. The league's going to adjust to him. There's going to be adjustment periods for everybody here, and he's going to have to make some adjustments. You just
Yeah,
saw
you
him in
can't take
practice.
sacks. You can't take bad sacks, and he
He
needs
can't
to throw a
he can't
more
run
accurate
backwards.
deep ball.
He
And his
does
deep
run
ball is
backwards.
bad.
He's gonna knock that shit off too. He has some bad habits he has to get rid of.
And his deep ball he was playing way too safe on his deep ball. He's got to give his receivers an opportunity to make plays. That's
Yeah, it's
something
like
that Ben Johnson's going to
he was
fix.
thinking instead of reacting. He was thinking instead of playing. That will be the biggest difference, I think. If
I
he can
think
play
the
loose
offensive
this year.
line is going to give him more time for him to be able to settle down and let the game open up and come to him a little bit. And we'll see if that makes a difference. You know, he
And
was under
Erica's not wrong here. The odds
Yeah.
are stacked against Caleb in this city no matter what, because half this fan
Some
base fucking
some people already think he's a bust after last year with the worst coaching staff and O-line in the league. That's a very good point, Erica. And I'm just saying, let's keep perspective. I don't think you got to expect fireworks from Caleb Williams this season, and that's the way to tell if he's a good player or if he's a bust. I don't think that this season decides that. We just got a new
agree
offense.
with you, Dustin.
Yeah, we got a whole new regime. We got all this a new playbook. There's gonna be some time to have to develop this.
You'll see with the eye test. His football acumen, his IQ, the things he does.
We've already seen that. We've already seen that.
Yes, but you can also regress in 1 year. We've seen it with millions of players. We hope it doesn't happen with him, but you can't definitely say here, hey, that's not going to happen. I know 1,000,000% because nobody knows that for sure.
Well, given what
hope that, and we pray for that. I'm sitting here hoping for it. I hope he becomes Patrick fucking Mahomes. But
well, Sean, we got to add some context to that with Caleb Williams because it could not have gone worse for him in his rookie season.
100%.
And he still showed that acumen and that intelligence and that stick-to-itiveness and everything that you need from that guy. If things will go better this year in terms of how this offense moves the ball, in terms of how they protect Caleb Williams, those things are going to happen. So I don't think that those things will regress. If they were going to regress, they would have done that last year in the worst situation possible.
Here, I'm not thinking he's going to fail at all. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. That's all I'm doing. You know,
or the little things might make a difference early on. Like we've already changed his footing that he's been accustomed to for 20 years. So I mean, you're going to see some bumps in the road here. There's no doubt about it. Again, Erica just said it took Josh Allen 3 to 4 years. It's going to take. This takes time. Those who want instant gratification might as well not watch the Bears. Just don't do that.
The thing for me is when he does make mistakes, that poutiness is gone. That crap walking to the sideline. You know, I understand he was fine in the press conferences, but body language, as Ben Johnson's talked about,
Johnson's already addressing that. Yeah,
those things turn around. How does he react after mistakes? Can he bounce back and still be a winner? Good quarterbacks brush that off their shoulders, go out and make winning plays. Do I think that he has that in him? Absolutely, I do. But I also want to see it starting in September on football Sundays.
Of course, we got to see it. Bears fans need to see it. We deserve to see it. No, we saw it, but we deserve to see better results on the football field in general as Bears fans with the shit we put up with, and we hope to see it. I just want to we want it so badly that it's like if we don't get instant gratification, it's like, well, it was a failure. I think we got to approach this a little differently with this team, given that we should have the right guy at head coach. That we're building this foundation, right? We're building this foundation. This is not the penthouse yet. We are starting from the bottom and trying to move up. That's gonna take some time.
We're playing
Melon
the
Smasher. Melon Smasher has Caleb progressing.
24 touchdowns, 3750 passing. Yeah. For sure. And as Cliff pointed out with Ben Johnson, Sean, the details matter. And he is very detail oriented in Caleb's body language. And as Brandon pointed out in his footwork and all those things, he's already addressing those things that you can clean up now that hopefully when you get in pads, you've already got that shit going. You've already got a routine there. Ben Johnson is approaching this in a very smart, very professional way.
It's not a get in shape. It's a show up.
I have great vibes for Caleb this year.
When we started this whole coaching search, you guys know the one guy I wanted was the guy that's here right now. He's been everything that I could possibly ask for, hope for, and wish for in a head coach.
And more.
He's been more.
Yes, and more. Thus far.
He's been more.
Let's see how it continues to progress.
And his hires, guys.
I've been snake bitten too many times. And I'm not just talking about 2025, because I think a lot of people were snake bitten by Matt Nagy after winning the division and thinking we were going to continue to progress from there. So I want to see.
Go back to 2001. Go back to 2002. Like
I'm saying is I want to see some sustained, continued success on the lakefront, more than just say the Bears go 10-7 or 11-6 next year. That would be fantastic. But you know what's more important to me? Seeing that again in 2027.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
stability.
this is not what
that's what I'm
happened
saying.
in Chicago.
And the best way to judge your head
we're building the foundation for that this year, so we should not.
And it looks that way.
And the first thing you can judge a head coach on, and Dustin pointed this out on the Bare Minimum guys. If you didn't see it, go back and watch. It was a great show. Is their fucking hires. And who the hell was Matt Eberflus hiring? Remember that, Dustin?
Mm-hmm.
Who the fuck are these guys?
Ben
Johnson. If you could judge Ben Johnson alone off his coaching hires, I'm pretty impressed, because those guys wanted to be here, and they believe in Ben Johnson. That makes me believe in Ben Johnson, and all you guys out there should believe in Ben Johnson until we see this thing fail.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm really, really happy. I'm overjoyed. And again, I do think this is headed in the right direction. I do think that there's some sustained success. I still need to see some things like player development. I want to see some of these draft picks developed into players. We seem to have the staff that's going to be able to do it. Seems like we have drafted some intelligent, good young football players. Let's see it all come together, man. I always say, dude, the journey is the best part of the ride, man. And this journey is going to be fun. It's going to be fun. And the end of this ride hopefully accumulates in a world championship.
Journey
Lombardi trophy,
just as important as the destination, for sure.
And Sean, what you were saying echoed what I was saying. Like, let's just not get disappointed if this season does not equate to 9-10 wins like a lot of people are projecting. You know, I have not picked my win losses for the Bears yet this year, and I don't know if I'm going to go that high. And I don't think we should be disappointed if that's the case. I really don't, because this is, again, just the start, as you're saying, the start of that journey, Sean. And so if Caleb doesn't throw for 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns, it doesn't mean that Caleb's a bust. It does not mean that.
Yeah, Erica was probably a record-setting number. 2 people were fired for God knows what. They didn't even announce it. We never even found out what those guys were doing in the building.
I mean, this schedule is just brutal. It's a brutal schedule.
This is the hardest schedule in the NFL. It looks like, right?
A brutal schedule.
Just the NFC North on its own is fucking brutal.
But again,
she got you there, Melon Smasher. She got you pretty good there, bud. I'm gonna say, she said, didn't 8 or how many coaches got fired under Flus? 7 or 8, and he said you meet under Poles. He said you meet under Poles. She said no, Flus hired the staff. That's a good point. It wasn't
hired a staff, and
Poles hired a head coach.
Come on the show.
Poles hired a head coach. That was it. A head coach takes care of the rest.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, man.
I'm with you, Vizzo Joe. I'm jaded.
I'm with you, man. I just kind of said that, the PTSD of being a Bears fan after 2018, and we missed that kick. I was like, you know what? This team's solid. We'll be back next year. We'll compete. We're going to be awesome. And
Sean, you've been doing this longer than me. God bless you.
Yeah, it's a nightmare, man. You know what though? I got to live through some really good times, dude. The 80s and the early 90s were not this bad.
No, Smasher, I think the same.
And after 94,
Erica just relayed. Poles. This is not Poles' record. Yes, sure. Poles is just as responsible as everyone else for making this a better football team. And he hired the wrong coach, and that was his biggest mistake.
And he retained him in a year
and that's what's reflecting. That's what's reflecting over him now. But Poles is here to stay. He got extended. You got to deal with it. It is what it is at this juncture. You got to hope for the best. And a lot of Bears fans,
Brandon, that is Poles' record. That is Poles. Where's that record?
A lot of Bears fans, Melon Smasher, I think when you're so critical, it comes off almost as if you're rooting for failure. And I got to say, when you're in the chat, man, I get a vibe. Like, I know you're just the same as us. You expect the worst, but it almost comes off as if that's what you're advocating for. And you got what you got. You got Caleb Williams, you got Ryan Poles, you got Ben Johnson, and you just got to hope that it fucking works, man. That's what it is.
It'd be nice to stop hoping and start seeing some results. That is Poles' record, Brandon. Poles wears that record, period. Sure. End of story.
But to me, it's reflected in the coach that he hired.
Okay, and I can say the mistake of hiring. It was the mistake of keeping him on when he should
But
moved on
Dustin,
from him
he's
the season before
he's
last.
fucking here.
That's
He's
the
here
thing.
to stay. It's not going to change. They're going to fire Ryan Poles before Ben
I'm
Johnson and
not
Caleb
saying
Williams
it's not,
play a game.
but those are mistakes.
It is what it is. Like I said this when we did the show.
I'm the one that was just preaching.
When we did the show about Ryan Poles, I
patience.
said it again and again and again. What's the point of talking about it? Because he's fucking here to stay. There's no point in bringing it up. It doesn't matter
The
anymore.
point of talking about it is that it does impact the team. The moves that he
No,
makes are
and
what sets this team up. He's made some really good moves this offseason.
And if there was a question of whether or not Ryan Poles retains his job moving forward, I'd say let's have a discussion about it. But the question's answered, and the discussion is dead.
Well, the thing is,
but as Mike points out,
with the record,
that's what I'm saying, man.
The thing
Yeah,
is,
I was the biggest. I was so opposed to the hiring of Matty Eberflus and the retaining of Matty Eberflus. I can't even put it in words.
No, same here.
It made me sick to my stomach. And the Bears continued to do this thing, and Ryan Poles just picked up where all the other GMs left off. What are you doing? Who are these people? What do you see in them? And now he's here to. He's extended.
And he's made some better moves.
It looks like he's changed his tune a little bit, and he's opened his eye. And to be honest with you guys, this all comes down to me to Kevin Warren and George McCaskey changing their habits as well. They allowed Ryan Poles to be aggressive in his coaching search. They allowed him to pay whatever a guy he wanted required. And here we are now. And Ryan Poles, right now, we're going to judge Ryan Poles off up until today, he's doing the right things as far as I'm concerned. But he is also not going anywhere anytime soon.
Sean,
I'll say this.
Sean, where you at?
This whole Ryan Poles thing, I've been the guy who's been beating him to the ground too, but you got to remember in 2022 and 2023, you're looking at a full-scale rebuild, and you can sit here, Melon Smasher, and say he's 3-15 in the NFC North. That right there is 12 games, or 2, 4, 6, 12 games that you just don't expect to win because those three teams in the division were headed in a different direction. Well, the Bears were playing with guys that should have been bagging groceries for a couple of years, and we all knew it. So to start evening out Poles' record, I think you have to start drawing off of maybe last year, moving forward, and scratch the first 2 years. If you want to hold a rebuild against him, when he was very upfront and said, hey, we're tearing this thing down to the studs and we're going to rebuild.
Especially financially. We're going to get rid of all the money.
Yeah.
Like all this money that's fucking delegated
here
going away.
It's not like the Cubs who came out and said, oh, yeah, we're still trying to win championships here when everyone knew that.
Or the Bulls who try again and again and again to do the same thing over.
Right. So again, I understand he has to wear that record, but I think from my standpoint, he made a mistake with Poles last year, but my record for him is going to start last year and start moving forward over the next couple of years because I think
last year ain't very good either.
No, last year's not a good year, but I think he learned from a lot of his mistakes. We've seen some improvement in his decision making. And hopefully it's not all Ian Cunningham because, again, if you watch that draft show, that behind the scenes, to me, it seemed like Ian Cunningham was more the point person and Ryan Poles was leaning on him very, very heavily. So if Ian Cunningham's not here, there's a whole nother question. Can Ryan Poles do this without his best buddy tied to his hip? That's a huge question. And I'll be honest, when he was interviewing for the Titans job and came down as the finalist, we were
nervous. We were nervous.
Like, shit, dude. We can't lose this guy.
But we don't have to worry about that this year, at least. And it does seem like Poles has learned from his mistakes. And Mike Ross says, didn't they kind of tell Poles to hire Flus? Like it felt like he was leaned on to make that hire. That's why I say
forced on him.
Yeah, 100%. And I that's why I think retaining Flus going into last
his
season
gravest
was
mistake.
his biggest mistake. Not
and
hiring.
that derailed years of Ryan Poles' tenure.
As people have pointed out, that's what led to where we are now with Ben Johnson. But it's like you can't keep tripping over yourself and falling into a pot of gold. That's not how good GMs build winning teams. So hopefully Poles has learned from his mistakes. I have very good feeling about this offseason and what he has done. And the offseason prior where he put himself in position to draft Caleb Williams and he added DJ Moore. Like he's done some really good things. We can't just say it's all bad or it's all good. There's been some ups and some downs. He was a young GM. We got to start seeing wins because Poles does wear that record. You need to see the results on the football field. That's it. That's all it's about at the end of the day. That's all it's about to me.
And I think we'll get some of those. Hey, Krishan Dalton, is he? I think he's new as well, huh?
I have never seen that name before. We got a clap for him?
Well, welcome to the show, my friend.
What's up? What's going on, Krishan Dalton?
Where's this thing? Oh, we're at the end of.
He says Poles was hired after. I know that when Poles was hired.
Poles was not hired after Flus. That is not.
No, they had given him 3 names, I believe, that he had. They had given him. They had basically given him a multiple choice option who he was going to hire. That's the way I understand it. But like Dustin said, that goes out the window when Poles decides to retain Matt Eberflus.
Wasn't Dan Quinn one of those guys though?
Yes, Dan Quinn was one of the names.
One of the options.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Thank you for joining us, Krishan. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit that like button. But
and while we give a shout out to Krishan, let's give a shout out to all these beautiful people that have been inside this chat, tolerating
Cliff
us
Victoria, Erica, Mike Ross, Melon Smasher, Vizzo Joe, Bruce, as always. Kyle was in here. Kyle, we missed you tonight, man. Hopefully, we got you back better, on Kyle. Wednesday. Thanks for jumping in the chat, though. Mike Ross, man. Who else did we have? I'm blanking. Notorious TVG was in here earlier. I know I saw Ant-Man was in here. Oliver Carter.
Dante Purified.
Dante Bruce. Always. Razzle Dazzle. Razzle Dazzle's becoming one of my favorites, even though he doesn't like our projections. And
Melon Smasher. Melon Smasher, you smashed that chat, dude. God bless you, man. He brings the fucking
like Gallagher. Yeah, I mean, some of his takes, not the biggest fan of, but that's the point of these conversations, right? Yeah. You guys, Sean wasn't a big fan of some of my takes earlier, and
that's
vice versa.
That's the way of sports. So if we all agreed on everything, this show would suck.
Yeah. The show would be boring as fuck. That's why
we haven't done this in a while. We haven't done this.
We're gonna have this shirt on a lot. I have a feeling. Hopefully,
let's give a shout out to River Street Tavern guys and to
Flus was not hired before Poles. Flus was not hired before Poles.
Flus was hired, then Poles was hired.
Poles was the GM before Flus was hired. That's.
Let's give a shout out, guys, to River Street Tavern and Ideal Amusement, our 2 sponsors, guys. And I know we've got some more on the way, but we kind of forget to pay the bills every once in a while. So thanks to those guys. Thanks for all the support. And thanks to everybody in the chat. We got another show coming Wednesday, 7 o'clock. Kyle will hopefully be back for that. Jay will be here as well. Sean, you will be leading the show. And guys, check out the bare minimum Thursday night at 11:30 p.m. if you're up. If you stay up late, if not, catch it the next morning. And we're back for the Northside 9, guys, the Cubs show, carrying success into our show. Sean and Kyle, we appreciate that as well as the Cubs are in their own right. Mm-hmm. And
I want to read this from Melon Smasher because this is his best comment
really
of the
quick.
night.
It says
Hold on.
Matt Eberflus was hired as head coach after they hired Ryan Poles.
Of course he was. I don't know where he's gotten that information from.
Yes.
I like this. I like this comment too.
Yeah, Melon Smasher, his most like down to earth, cool, grounded comment that he's made this entire night, and I love him for it. Ben's job isn't easy. He's trying to clean up a mess, a losing culture where the owner and GM don't know what winning looks like. They didn't even know how to practice. Going to take time to see evolution. That is echoing what we were saying 100%, Melon, and I love you for that comment. Appreciate it.
And on Wednesday, we're going to debut a brand new little segment called Fantasy Fact or Fiction. We're going to test Kyle and Jay's brain on some fantasy football knowledge. I'm going to give them 25 fact or fiction questions, and we'll see if you guys agree or disagree with these 2 clowns on Wednesday.
Jesus.
Okay. This is another new one in the chat, guys. That's Shaq for you. I've never seen this dude in here before. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe. I know we're about to get out of here, but if you got one more clap.
Oh, and he says Vikings, Bears. She got the Vikings finishing first. Well, Lions last.
That's just so you know, Shaq. Yeah, Shaq,
it could happen.
It could. This division is going to be a little strange this year. There's going to be a lot of competition. But just so you know, go back and watch the show. We broke it down very detailed. Go look at it. But we ended up with the Lions, Bears, Vikings, Packers on our scoring system. We broke it down by position group. So go back and check it out, bro.
Silly.
And Sean, let's give that Shaq for you a round of applause, as well as everybody else in this chat before we hang it up. And Sean, I think you got
JoJo Loco, another new guy.
JoJo Loco. That's for you as well. That's for everybody here tonight. And thanks for joining us, guys. We appreciate your love. We appreciate your loyalty. Sean, you got anything else to say?
Anything you want to get out there before we wrap up?
Shit. Fuck Green Bay.
All right. Yeah. Let's go.
Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like the show, and make sure you get the notification bell.
Make sure you're
on
back
you
for
know when
more,
we're
guys,
coming
because
on.
we appreciate your chat. We rely on it.
Yes.
God bless you.
Wednesday.
Bear down.
Thursday, Saturday. Love y'all. Bear down, everybody.